always is very difficult to understand. There is not the same evaluations in different circumstances. Now I think the referee decided to for the red card, and I don't want to comment this referee decision because I didn't like to do it. For sure, the red card changed totally the game because in the start 11 we had 3 strikers, and Pulisic also is a winger, and then has changed totally the situation.
I think right from the beginning we were ready for it. I think we showed a lot of bravery and commitment to play the way we wanted to play. We generated the energy that we wanted to generate at the stadium, which is incredibly helpful when you play a game like this. And I think the players took the game, grabbed the game from the hand, and I think we deserve to win the game.
They won the North London derby, they're top of the league, everything's going well for Arsenal. Granit Xhaka is king of the world.
Yeah, he is. Delighted for him, the way it's gone. And the amount of managers have had faith in his ability and what he can do. To finally see him doing it under Mikel is obviously recognised that he needs to be pushed further forward. Me and Tim was talking about in the green room, and you put Granit Xhaka in a more defensive role with that kind of responsibility, with a player that doesn't really take people on. He hasn't got that kind of skill, he hasn't got that pace to get away from people. And what we found is that there were silly fouls, bookings, and giving the ball away. Obviously, that's not where he should have been playing. And, you know, thank God Mikel's found it for him, because he is so potent, because he's playing in a more advanced position. He's getting the ball when he's got a bit of time on it. He's got the capability and the ability to pass it through lines. He's got a great cross through. So now we're seeing the best of him, and I'm really pleased for him. It's been a brilliant transition.
But this is, we'll talk a bit more about him as a player and the changes that have helped him. But just purely on a connection with the fans, on terms of his state of mind, everything. I mean, this is a player who was storming off in the Palace game, arguing with the fans, complaining afterwards. He did a big piece in the Players' Tribune about how much stick he got from them and how difficult his relationship was with the Arsenal fans.
Yes.
Has it healed?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely it has. Because the thing with fans, and I have to say particularly with Arsenal fans, is that they want to forgive a player. They want a player to rise again from the ashes, you know, like he has done. And what's happened is that Mikel has given him the opportunity to do that, because if he was continuing to play where he was playing, we're saying Granit's been there for what, 6 years now? Coming to 6 years. And you have to say the last, under Mikel, is where we've seen the progression of him. So the years before, you could count on one hand the amount of games, you know, good games he's had, because he wasn't playing in the right place. Now the fans are seeing what he can bring, seeing that he has got massive value to what Mikel's doing in respect of offensively. Of course, they're gonna turn and like, because, you know, especially watching the Arsenal documentary, you know, people see the kind of player he is and why those certain managers have kept him around the place, because he's great around the place. He's great with the lads. He's a good pro.
Didn't the players vote for him as captain as well?
Yeah, they did vote for him as captain, because he's that kind of leader. Now seeing him playing where he wants to play, and he's leading not only just because of the attitude and the personality he's investing, but through his actions on the pitch as well now, he's getting even more love from the fans, because now we're seeing the best of it.
I mean, you know that area of the pitch better than any of us on it. But so when you look at the changes, the fact that he is playing further forward, what is it? Is it the fact that he's lost a bit of responsibility, or is it the fact that he's gained licence to get forward?
But also you've
more?
got a different blend in there now, Kels. You know, Odegaard helps massively with the creativity of it. You know, they've got Saka out left. You know exactly how they want to play now. I think Mikel's got his identity into that side, and he's realised that Granit's probably not the most responsible. Even at the weekend, he gives the ball away for the penalty. You need to keep him away from his own goal, and he will go back and he will help out, because he's all about energy. He's 100 mile an hour, you know, and Wright's right. He does drive forward. He can get himself into the box. He plays like he now plays for Arsenal. He plays his best football for Switzerland, and everyone was saying, well, why can't he produce that for Arsenal? Because he was in a different role, and now he's in exactly the same role. But I think it's the blend, and I've got a lot of time for Granit Xhaka after, you know, the reaction was wrong. I think he openly admitted that you take your armband off, you're a captain of the football club, you cannot be sulking like that. And he probably thought he would never play for the club again, but he's rolled his sleeves up and he's come back. And I see a lot of character in a man who does that and wants to do it at a huge football club. He's obviously looked at other clubs. I think Roma or Mourinho was looking to bring him in there, but he's never ever, Granit Xhaka's never going to play for a bigger football club than Arsenal. And I think it's hit home to him, and he's realised that he needs to knuckle down. And I think he's done that, and I give him a lot of respect.
That blend that Tim talks about in midfield, right across the pitch, seems to be coming together under Mikel Arteta, and that's why Arsenal find themselves top of the league. The difference in how they've started this season compared to how they started last season is just night and day.
And I think that's really important for them, because we saw them put together a really good middle of the season run last and at gas towards the end. So giving themselves a bit of a head start, which I personally don't think they're going to probably be able to hold on to this position. Sorry, righty. But I think it gives them as good a head start as anyone to make sure that they get that Champions League place, because last season they started so badly, put together that middle run, then finished so badly. They need to start off on the right foot and also make the most of having a fairly fit squad right now. I know there's already talk of bringing an extra midfielder in January, and I think that will be the difference between a team like Arsenal and a team like Manchester City, is the depth. It's just so different, and they will be hit by injuries. They will impact that squad a lot, but right now, while you've got fit players, you have to make the most of it in these big games, and it'll be interesting to see what they do against Liverpool as well.
Flo, do you not see them as the second best team in the Premier League?
I think right now I would probably say they're the second best. I think Chelsea, new manager obviously, and still searching for form, and I think it's been a difficult season. United, I would say the same thing. And Tottenham, I think, we were speaking about it before, I think when their plan works, it's great, and when it doesn't work, it's not so good. But it's whether they can hold on to it, and I think it's that fitness, because I just don't see a way that Arsenal can hold on to a fully fit squad to retain second place.
Yeah, but while Arsenal top, I think Man City are the second best team in the league. But
do you think that'll back you up? Do you think they'll hold on to second?
No, well, the thing is, you can't look at a Manchester City side like that with the depth, like you rightly say, and with Arsenal, where still at this point, a couple of players out of there, then it kind of like skews it a little bit. But all you can do is just like them pacemakers, just lead from the front and hope they can't catch you. But like, they've got City chasing them. Yeah. That's the main thing. What I read the other day, which was really interesting to read, is that a team with this many points at this stage of the season have always made top four. Arsenal are trying to make top four, and that, for me, is the focus. Can't legislate for injuries, but as long as what I've seen of them from the start of the season to now is an intensity, the crowd, the players, and a belief that they can do something. We're trying to chase down City. Everybody are trying to chase down City, but all they can do now is what they're doing, and that is continue to do what they're doing. Again, Liverpool's going to be a big test. The first team they
played... Even the way they're playing.
Yeah, but the thing is because, again, Liverpool, playing against the Liverpool, we saw what happened with Man United, and Man United beat them. A couple of mistakes for Arsenal, Man United beat them. That's how small the margins are. Liverpool, again, defensively, you can see they can be got at, but can you sustain it against that team? Because, again, Liverpool have got the kind of players that offensively can hurt you. Now, I don't believe that Arsenal should be going into that game feeling like you're at home. You should be beating this Liverpool side in the form they're in at the moment, and that is how you should be approaching the game. Because what I saw of Liverpool is that this is the time to play them. Yeah. This is the time to play them. So Arsenal, with the belief, with the way they're playing, everybody's buzzing. There's no injuries, really. This is the kind of game where they've got to go for me at home and beat Liverpool. We have to beat them if we're serious about trying to get where we want to be, and that is the top four and pushing Manchester City as far as you can.
Yeah. Also, it's a good season to have good form. We haven't quite seen a season this recently where you've got so many big teams struggling to perform.
Last time that happened was Leicester.
That's going to help them, and I think that'll, not to say that they don't deserve to be in that position, but that is giving them a little bit of a helping hand.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I think everybody predicting this season thought we're going to have so many top teams hitting form that actually they're going to end up taking points off each other. That's not the way it's worked out. We've seen
that middle kind pack growing as well and chasing those top teams and getting really good results. You saw what Brighton did first, day with a new manager, and they already take points at Liverpool. So I think that is going to play into Arsenal's hands a little bit because they can reap the benefits of all of these teams struggling.
What do you think the Arsenal players think that they can do? Because I've heard a lot of them talk about the confidence. Arteta talked about the bond between players and staff and the crowd, that kind of holy trinity in football. Aaron Ramsdale saying we were really stung by missing out on Champions League qualification last season. We really want to, that's motivating us this time around. He said they'd sort of burned for it and they were desperate to get this success. Would that mean finishing in second place? Would that be Arsenal's peak finish this season, do you think?
Well, their remit is to get back into the Champions League, because firstly, what that would do is that would attract another level.
So what I'm trying to ask is that the least they can aim for?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
The least
because
they
if
can.
I'm in that dressing room now with no injuries, everything, it will be buzzing right now in the dressing room. You know what it's like, Tim, when you're not even when you're top, just when you're playing well and you know you've got a great game coming next, you're buzzing. If Arsenal players are not thinking about trying to win the league, then they won't stay there, because you can't be up there thinking about like when you're winning the league. You can't be thinking about, well, we're not meant to be here. Nobody thinks we can do it, so we're just going to stay as long as we can. And then when we start losing, that was it. But we had a great goal. Yeah. Arsenal players at the moment should be thinking of trying to win the league, because the least that's going to happen is you're going to be in the Champions League places. And that is what they started at the season wanting. But all you've got to do is, like Flo said, you've just got to take the next game as it comes and see where it takes you. Because I wouldn't be thinking of, in that dressing, I don't want to be just fourth now. I want to win the league. Yeah. That's what should be pushing them. Yeah.
I think Blackburn's quite a good analogy with that, in that you think...
Because everybody thinks, oh, they're going to get caught, they're going to get caught.
But it's almost like when you go... But the worry is, in that situation, because City have been so dominant, because they have been setting these 90-plus points totals, there is a danger then if Arsenal think, right, we're going head-to-head with City, they lose one game, they drop behind them and they think, well, the league's gone now. And that can be really deflating. So it's about kind of, yes, OK, thinking that's my overall season ambition, or that's our overall season ambition, but you have to win each individual. And what I'm desperately trying not to say is take each game as it comes.
Well, I mean,
but you just have to win each match.
Well, I was going to say as well, from your experience, when does the target shift? When is the moment in the season when we've gone from...
When we beat Man United 3-2 at our place, when we went back in the dressing room, there's a different feeling. It's like when Leicester beat Man City 3-1 that season, that's when it shifted for them.
This is real.
Yeah, this is where you think, we can do this. When we done that, we can do this.
So do Arsenal have to stay in it till they play City?
No, they play Liverpool. First and foremost, they play Liverpool next. I think if they beat Liverpool,
if they beat Liverpool, you have to start thinking like it. Yeah.
You think now Arsenal will finish above Liverpool?
Well, the way the points are now, it's then the way that Arsenal and Liverpool are playing.
Well, that's good, and I agree with you. I think they are the second best team in the league. I think Man City are. Right is right. They're still above them, but Man City are just stronger in depth. But
because what Man City do is
Arsenal got players. They got a manager who knows. They all know the formation, and not only that, what he's tried to do is. He's tried to buy a little bit of experience of winning trophies as well. He's got Zinchenko in there. He's got Jesus in there. Do you think they've gone there to finish in the top four?
Yeah, they've gone there.
They've gone there now. They've gone in with that winning belief, and they're trying to spread it around the dressing room.
You know, the thing as well, Tim, is what City have done, and why I feel that at the moment it's kind of broken Liverpool's back, because they've had to hold on to him for so long. The pressure of having to win every week, because you know.
Do you think that's affecting Liverpool this season?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, I think that for Liverpool to, and I've said it, you know, if it wasn't for Liverpool, you know what I mean, it'd be a procession for Man City, and I stick by that. And I think to a certain extent.
And even then, they've still won 4 out of the last 5.
Exactly. And you look at them, and I think it's just got to them a bit in respect to the players. You've got players at a certain age, over 30s, and then you've got players that are under 22s, and that they need that middle kind of age group to keep them going, keep the energy going. At the moment, I think Arsenal have it, but do Arsenal have the resilience to, when Man City win, we have to win? They haven't got that experience yet, and that is what Man City will do. Yeah. Man City will continue to win games and wait and see, right, here you go, there's the pressure. And what we saw with Liverpool is, OK, bam, we'll win as well. Back to you. Yeah. Can Arsenal do that? That's what's going to come down to it.
Right, Mikel will love this discussion. You know, 8 games in, we're talking about them being title challengers to Man City. I mean, he would love it. It just shows you how far they've come. He's done a great job. He's had his ups and downs, people shouting for his head. He won a trophy, which gave him a bit of time when he first went in there. I think they win Europa League as well. I think it's the easier one to win. Hopefully that doesn't put them off their Premier League campaign. I see they're the second best team in the league at the moment. Have they got the strength in depth? Have they got the experience? That remains to be seen. I think Liverpool will come. I think Chelsea will improve, and Tottenham will be there or thereabouts.
What will happen,
great
Tim?
Premier League season.
Whatever happens off of the back of this season, if Arsenal do get in the top 4 with the players that I know that are probably waiting to come to Champions League.
Who?
No. Waiting for Arsenal to get in the Champions League. This season will be a massive learning curve for this team.
Yeah.
That's that's the least we can get out of it.
Cannot believe you've given us crumbs. Cannot believe you've given us crumbs. Just dangling those players in front of us.
Still only 8 games.
It's only 8 games, but there's players waiting to come if Arsenal finish in the Champions League.
Got identical hair to when you played with him, hasn't he?
It hasn't changed a bit.
All moved. Very good start to the season for Arsenal and for Mikel Arteta, as we can show you with these stats. Interestingly, only the bottom one did Arsenal actually ever win the league, 2003-04, the unbeaten season. But just say to everybody what you were saying to us off air about Arteta's influences as a manager, because I think that's a really interesting point.
Yeah, you're just asking about, how well he's doing, and I was saying I'm not surprised, having worked closely with him and knowing the character he is, and then you put that together with the fact that he's had an education under David Moyes, he's had an education under Arsene Wenger, he's had an education under Pep Guardiola, 3 managers who have been top quality in their own way, who've had different styles, different approaches, and you learn tactically how you want to approach, what you learn off the field about how you approach the game, and you can take out of that what you want to make you the best version of yourself. So having seen that from him, I'm not surprised that he's having success right now, because they are 3 wonderful people to learn from, and we've seen him in his failures and how or his difficult times and how he was handling himself, and I'm not surprised to see that his team's doing well.
I haven't seen many unhappy players under him, as in moaners. Aubameyang is one example. However, the kids and the seniors and the Xhaka situation, he seems to have managed it very, very well and kept everybody happy,
Well, you think about last season and the players that, in his words, he had to get out of the club. And then you look at yesterday, when they scored that goal and Xhaka gets the team together and the spirit and the camaraderie. They just scored a goal, and yet we're all staying here. We're all having a word. We are one team, one unit. What a turnaround that is for us.
So Arsenal play quite progressively. I think even some Tottenham fans say that the way they play, which is on the counter at times, might be a bit frustrating. But sometimes, does on the counter mean that actually you drop so deep you think, well, we've got safety in numbers, but it's not necessarily as simple as that?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Look at all the numbers there that they do have in the boxes. All the players are back doing what they need to do. There's one just outside the box, but you can get back into a very, very good defensive position and not contribute anything to that defensive spell of work. I mean, look at them. They're all in the box.
But if you're going to counter, how would you say Tottenham are going to counter from that position? Your Sons and your Richarlisons are too deep to actually counter-attack. So I think they've just, in this game, found themselves not quite in a moment of panic, but overdoing their jobs, not trusting.
And look how free party is then.
Yeah, not trusting the defenders to do their jobs. The midfielders need to all step up 5 or 10 yards, step back into midfield where they're doing their own job. They were so guilty of dropping deep, allowing Arsenal, who were terrific on the day. There's no getting away.
And even though this is a Lorry's howler, there's still, look how many Tottenham players are back there.
Again, you can get players back, but then what happens is there's so many players back, nobody knows who to mark. You've doubled up on the amount that need to be there, really, and then you start passing the ball. Oh, he was your man, or was he your man? Do your job.
Tottenham had a spell just before half-time
just after the
game where if they'd have scored one of the 2 of their opportunities, if they'd have been a bit more ruthless, which they have been at times in the season, the game could have been differently. But if you play as negatively as Tottenham did in that approach, and you're not ruthless and you don't take them opportunities, you're going to get criticised for the way you've approached it.
Yeah, what I spotted with Arsenal, and I've not said this for a long time about Arsenal, all those little sort of loose balls, all those little balls that were in between a Spurs player and an Arsenal player, Arsenal won. Just those little fighting balls, it's just there, and they fought and they wanted it. They're the bits. As a Spurs player, you're thinking, oh, he's stronger than me. Oh, he's got there before me. It's mental doubt. Arsenal were very mentally strong in that game.
So after Jesus made it 2-1, Royal got sent off, then Arsenal made it 3-1. Let's have a word with Chris Foy. Chris, there's quite a lot of a debate about this red card. What did you feel as to the validity of the decision?
Yeah, it's the correct call, and I think that between the referee and his assistant Gary Bezic, they've certainly got this right. And I think the clues with this challenge are the ball itself, because the player doesn't make any attempt to play the ball. You'll see it here at Emerson Road. The ball is nowhere near him, and he just rakes him down the back of the leg. I mean, it's a dangerous tackle. And when we talk about player safety, you see there the ball, he's not even challenging for the ball. Does it endanger the player's safety? It does, but between the two match officials, Gary Bezic and Anthony Taylor, they've made the right call. That is definitely a red card.
We think the linesman helped out here. Leon, what's your thought? Look, the linesman's right on the ball, literally.
Yeah, and he's signalling to the referee there. I just thought it was harsh at the time. I thought, it's in the version, it's a strong yellow. I would have been okay if that would have been just a yellow and not a red card, but I can't argue strongly enough to say that it's not a red card. It's into that gap, but in my opinion, it probably should have just been a yellow card.
Yeah, I'd go red. I'd go with Chris. I think it's a red, and I think the reason that Chris gave for me is perfect, because if Ozzy's this side, I'm always going to have the ball on this side, so I'm in between the two, and that's exactly what the situation was. I just think it was a tackle that was made lazy. I think you're right,
yeah.
And he was having a torrid day as well. He was, to be fair, and he was frustrated. But for me, it's dangerous.
I think it's one of those, and we'll speak to Chris a little bit later, thank you, that if it had been given a yellow, that wouldn't have been overturned either. And so, some referees would have only given a yellow, and the other half would give a red, and that's, that's the way it is.
It's an in-between one. But
and it's an in-between one, and we're happy with the on-field decision.
Absolutely.
Now, Granit Xhaka's playing well, isn't he? And that's not something that we've said that often, that regularly, because he's playing further up the pitch. That's the point.
Yeah, I think he plays for his country further up the pitch as well, and he seems to be, enjoying it, and he seems to be smiling. Arsenal seem to be getting better performances from him, and he's affecting football matches in a positive way. 2-3 years ago, when he's having arguments with the fans and he's throwing his shirt on the floor, I'm thinking he's out the door.
He's thinking he's out the door. He said he was out the door.
He's got to have something else, isn't he?
Well, he's becoming Arsenal's left-footed Kevin De Bruyne, isn't he? He's playing further up the pitch. He's playing in that position. He's getting on the ball. He's making things happen. He's making assists with those beautifully flighted left-foot passes. He's scoring goals. And, he seems such a strong character within
Arsenal's goal and allowing a bit more freedom up the pitch.
Yeah.
He's a good footballer. It's just on the odd occasion he loses his head and he lets himself down and the club down.
What a weekend. 3 hat-tricks this weekend. You got 5 in the Premier League. You remember all of them, I would imagine.
Probably, yeah. I do, yeah.
The last of them was against Bolton. But you like the third goal in that one, don't you?
Yeah, it's just like putting a little bit of icing on it. Platty just knocked it over, and I thought, you know what? Let me just send that home. Just go home, ball. That was a magnificent day.
The ball knows where it wants to go. You just need to help it.
Listen, I don't know what the problem is with a lot of these strikers. The ball, just send them home. That's their home. Send it home.
Is that going to be our theme then for today? I don't know what the problem is with these strikers. Everybody should be doing what Haaland's doing.
Yes, send the ball home.
He's basically just doing the obvious thing every single time.
Very easily as well.
Flo Lloyd-Hughes and Tim Sherwood are with us. A fantastic weekend. Erling Haaland, again, with a hat-trick, his 3rd of the season. He's 8 games into his Manchester City career in the Premier League, and again he just delivers.
Yeah, there's not really enough words in the dictionary, I think, to describe him now. Just running out of adjectives and superlatives. He's an unbelievable athlete. He's like if you stitched every element of not just footballers, but just elite athletes from NFL, rugby, track and field. You just patched them. He's got Daley Thompson athleticism in him, but he's also got that agility of a wide receiver in the NFL. Everything patched together. He's a superb athlete, and he almost seems unstoppable, which seems ridiculous to say, but you just don't know how he can be stopped.
No, and it just looks as though he's finding it all, as you said, so easy, so natural. But is he the difference for City, do you think, this season? No, the Premier League, they won it last season but without him. The goals that he's scoring this season, OK, it might take them to it, and it looks like it will take them to another title. We'll talk about Arsenal in a minute. But is it Europe where we'll see the biggest difference?
I think that if you look at Erling's goal-scoring record, he breaks all records wherever he plays, but certainly Champions League is his specialist subject. I mean, the goals that he scored in the Champions League are phenomenal. I think he will be the difference. I think in past years, sometimes they struggle to win games. Very few games, but they struggle to win when they're not playing brilliant. They don't have to play well now. When you've got someone as clinical as Erling Haaland, you just create 1 or 2 chances. He will take 1 or 2. I mean, he's incredible. I mean, I never felt that he would. Sometimes when players come to the Premier League, you think, are they going to suffer? Is it going to be a slow burner for them to really settle into the Premier League? We knew straight away he wasn't going to, because of physicality, as Flo says. I mean, he's just an absolute machine, isn't he? I mean, his pace, his touch, his cuteness. I think he's very bright as well. I think Pep's trying to tell him just to start the field, let everyone else do the build-up play. You just keep in the width for the goal, occupy the centre halves, create the space for the number 10s. De Bruyne, I mean, it must be a premium for someone to go and play for Man City, and someone like Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden and Gundogan to play in behind you. It must be a dream. He's the envy of all number 9s around the world. Everyone wants to play for Man City, and him going there and succeeding has made him feel even more greener than the background.
Wait, people don't know the background is green here. It's a trick. Erling Haaland is on course to score 66 goals for Manchester City in the Premier League alone this season. The numbers are just ridiculous. We've said before, or you were making the point before, I think last season, about a striker coming in to be the Aguero replacement at Manchester City. You said they don't even need to be top draw. But when you get somebody who can do what Haaland does, and then you add that to Manchester City, is that why we're seeing what we're seeing?
Yeah, we are. And like Tim said, they don't even have to play well now because they've got somebody in the focal point where Kevin De Bruyne can just turn it around the corner and, he'll be there. They put the ball in the box, and they didn't have that kind of focal striker who's in there heading it in and doing that sort of stuff. Even Aguero, the way Aguero played, he didn't do the same kind of finishes. But when you look at now where he is, where he's arriving, where he's tapping things in, even when City are going through a spell where it's not going well, they get a move together, get the ball in the box, bam, that's the 1-0, that's everybody relaxed, and now they can get on with it. And then you've seen it, he looks, I said at the start, after the Community Shield game, I said, just looking at the way he's smiling and laughing, it's kind of like almost like, okay, right, that's it. I'm not going to do that ever again. I'm just going to take every single chance I get. It's just, and he said himself, he feels like he's unstoppable. And in that team, he is unstoppable because even if you're not playing well, someone's going to put something on a plate for you if you're in there.
When you were saying about the fact that they don't have to be playing well in order for them to get goals now because they've got Haaland there, but is it almost the case that from a midfielder's point of view or from one of the creative players' point of view, actually it raises your game as well because you think, do you know what, everything I do now is likely to come off because Erling Haaland's like a 42% shot conversion rate is just ridiculous. But it can give you confidence as well.
Absolutely. I think, especially when teams play against Man City, because they're so good, they show them that respect, they get everyone behind the ball, so it's really hard to break down. But that first goal is so important because when they score the first goal, the opposition then have to come out, and then the space is for the rest of the team. And invariably, he scores the first goal. It's a half a chance. He just sticks it in the back of the net, then they're 1-0 down, then they have to find a plan B. And the plan B, it normally is to come out and open the space up, and then that's where they get exploited for the likes of De Bruyne and that.
But this is hilarious. It's 8, and the next one is 48 for Michael Owen.
It's incredible. I mean, it's sick, isn't it?
Can I just say, when you look at the names on that list, and every single one of them, if they're in a team of that calibre, they're doing that kind of stuff because the amount of chance. I'm not taking anything away from how good he is, but the amount of chances that they're making. And if you are clinical, like I mentioned about, you don't have to be clinical. If you're clinical as he is, you're taking everything. You're gonna gobble everything up, and that's what he's doing at the moment.
He gave a really interesting interview about what Pep Guardiola's asking him to do, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it because he talked about, yes, the idea of it just playing between the posts, though he didn't do it because he got 2 assists in that game as well, so he was contributing, and no one's ever done that, scored a hat-trick and assisted 2 goals in a Premier League match ever. But he talked about being there on his own at the times when he is required to do that. And he said, do you know what, especially over the last couple of years, I've spent a lot of time on my own. He said, I quite like being on my own. I can get myself into that place on the pitch. I mean, just the psychological impact of that and the sort of mental aspect of the game. Because when you see how physical he is, you don't really take that into consideration. But that's impressive as well.
It's very impressive. He's very impressive. Like Flo rightly mentioned how he is. He's an amalgamation amalgamation of so many different players and sports people. But I think that what is great about what City have in Erling Haaland is the focal point of what he can do. He can do everything. When he came, people were saying, oh, well, we'll see what happens because everybody drops deep for City and so he ain't going to have space to run into. But we can see he can link the play, he can assist, he can run beyond, he can do everything. It's really, you're probably going into games now, it's like Arsenal playing against like Drogba and Kane. You're going in 1-0 down. With Erling Haaland, literally every team going into the game, they're 1-0 down because he's going to take one of the easy chances that's going to be created for him. And even if they're not, if they're too high with their line, he's going to be able to break through and finish. It seems to me now, to try and beat City, you're going to have to be perfect throughout the game. Even if they do defend in patches, what I saw against United, really quite, I wouldn't say shoddy, but like they were a little bit slack. They're still going to score 6 goals. It's tough. It's like impossible task.
He doesn't care if he's involved in the build-up. I mean, he's a player who does not mind. He's not coming deep. We see Kane doing it a lot. When the midfield can't find him high up the field, he comes deeper and deeper just to get involved in the game. Erling's happy doing what he does. Pep's got it into his psyche. He knows he's doing a job for the team by keeping them pinned back, creating the space for the others. And his specialist subject is scoring goals, and that is what he gets. He gets the service from all them guys around him. I mean, it's a dream to play in their side. I mean, I would pay to play for them. I mean, it's just incredible. When you look at some of the patterns, what they paint there, it was just brilliant. I mean, you just want to, if you're an offensive player, and Righty was, you want to play for Man City. You want to play every single down that training field because all you work on, it's not about without the ball. I mean, certainly, they're obsessed with what we're going to do out of possession. Pep's philosophy is keep the ball off them and then we haven't got to worry. We keep the ball off them, we know how to create chances, the patterns are brilliant, the guile with their midfield is absolutely second to none, and he's going to score goals. Of course he's going to score goals, but he still has to do it. He can only foul. If he come over and he didn't score, we'll look at him as a failure. All he can do is continue with these numbers. And do any of us doubt that he will continue? I don't know. I have no doubt he will break.
And when everybody else goes off to the World Cup, he's got a break in which to kind of rest, recuperate, build on his technique and kind of come back and hit the ground running. And because he looks like he's really lacking.
Pep talked about it after. He gives all Dortmund physios a lot of credit for the way he's been injured. In the last season he was out, but they got him right of doing something correct with him.
And that relationship, you talked about the players who create for him, Kevin De Bruyne, that sort of, we saw the fruits of that almost immediately. The Phil Foden relationship, they talked about after the game as growing, and we saw that, in the game yesterday. And 2 of Foden's hat-trick were assisted by Haaland.
Yeah, that understanding he's got quite quickly, I think, is really impressive because, like Ian said, that Community Shield game, I think there were quite a few doubts about him as well, and the way that he had, I think, was it like 12 touches or something, and everyone thought, is he going to blend into this team? But actually, he's proven his average goals per touches ratio is ridiculous. He doesn't need many touches because he's going to be there in the right places, as we've discussed. But that understanding that you need, which is what makes Pep's teams so different, because if you look at the matchup yesterday, that's what United didn't have. They didn't have that understanding because a lot of these players are slotting into roles and they don't quite know what each individual person needs to do yet. But the beauty of a Pep team is when he changes things, there's always a plan. Everyone understands their individual role so well, whereas United, they didn't have that yesterday, and that's why there were so many gaps that opened up because the system didn't quite work, the individual roles didn't quite work, and you're going to get exploited because the Pep philosophy and the Pep team is just so regimental that they can just drop players in. But those players still have such a good individual understanding of what they need to do.
Yeah, and then you see the effect that can have on Phil Foden, who already had a great start to his career at Manchester City. But he gets the hat-trick. He becomes the first Manchester-born City player to score a hat-trick in a Manchester derby in the Premier League. And that's a huge thing. As he said afterwards, I'm a City fan. That's what I grew up as a kid, and I get to not just play in a derby, but score a hat-trick.
And when I remember when he first came on the scene, everyone was saying, why don't they give him a chance? He needs to play him. Why don't they let him go out on loan? I was thinking, this guy, he needs to go out. And you think to yourself, well, he doesn't need to go out. He's playing with the players he's playing with. And Pep would always shut that talk down because they obviously know what they've got in Phil Foden. He's one of the best players, captain of the World Cup squad that won it under 17s. You know, he's the one player that's really gone to the top, and he's maintained. He's not dropped off at all since he's been that team. You know what I mean? We never heard anything about him saying, oh, yeah, I just want to play. You know, can I go out on loan? He just got on with it, and now he looks like, how are you going to leave him out of that side?
Yeah.
Especially with the way he can link up, he can do so many things. The position he's playing now is brilliant. He's coming onto things. He's coming up with one touch into the box, finishing like you saw that last finish. You know, fantastic finish. We're talking about somebody who's playing, for me now, in the perfect position, in the perfect team, for his stature as well.
But that's what Pep Guardiola has now at City. And even when there were injuries before the game, and there were a few kind of Manchester United fans looking at that City lineup thinking, a couple of injuries in defence there, no Rodri. Yeah. This might be an opportunity, particularly if they can get Rashford running through. that proved to be the problem for them, was actually getting hold of the ball. But you know, if Manchester United can get through on the counter and they've got Rashford there, that might be the way they can take something from this game. But Pep Guardiola said before the game, look, this isn't about tactics. He said this is about, to put them in place, this is about the players, and they're the variable in all of this. When you have players of that quality at City, consistency is the watchword for them, and there is no real variable. Whereas at Manchester United, you see what Erik ten Hag is doing, and there just isn't that consistency of performance in the players. Even if his plan might be right, they're not executing it necessarily in the right way.
I think Pep always pushes I think he gives the credit to the players all of the time, and he does that very well.
He's
very modest. He's very modest in the way, but it's not. Well, it's actually about him. A lot of it is about him, without doubt. He's the best coach we've ever seen in the Premier League, in my opinion. Not so Alex Ferguson's the best manager. His record suggests that, but Pep knows exactly what he wants from his team. When he first came over here, it was like, he's never going to be able to do it in the Premier League. You can't play tiki-taka football over here. Well, you can. You can with the little players as well. He's bringing over the little David Silvas and Agueros, and it's sensational. I mean, he knows exactly what he wants from his players. He tweaks it. It doesn't always stay the same. His style of play has moved on, and each player knows exactly what's required of them. He doesn't ask any player to do anything they're not capable of doing, which is a strength of a manager. So that is why they're allowed to express themselves, and that's why they enjoy themselves every single day going in there. It's not just about coming out on match days. You know, they have to go in every day. And when you, believe me, right here tell you the same, it becomes a job. And people listening around the world will be going, oh, it's what, the best job in the world? Well, sometimes it becomes very boring, depending on which manager you're with. You're never bored with Pep Guardiola. Never. Because you all want to play with the ball. You all want to just dominate football matches, and they do it every single time. It's about control of the game, and he takes control of the football match first and foremost. And now, with big Erling Haaland, you've got someone who's just going to capitalise and be clinical and put the game away from the opposition.
Yeah, I'm not sure how deep that humility runs, because he was asked after the game about Haaland, and they said, you know, how brilliantly he's doing. He said, oh yeah, it's great what Haaland's doing. I mean, it's not just because he's working with me. I mean, there are other things in there. It's his innate talent. It was like, nobody's asking about what you've done. But he does understand, Guardiola, clearly what he brings to that setup. It's just whether or not it works on the pitch, and it does work on the pitch because he has the players to do that, whether there are injuries or not. Whereas for Erik ten Hag, he has players who aren't necessarily consistent, who don't necessarily implement what he wants to do. He said they lacked confidence yesterday, but also, of the players he has, the one that has delivered the most consistently over the years is Cristiano Ronaldo, who doesn't get on the pitch. Ten Hag said, I mean, there's an argument about whether he starts games, but clearly that's not in Ten Hag's plans. But there is an argument of whether you bring him on, and Ten Hag said, I couldn't do that to him out of respect for his career and his status in the game. Can you bring Cristiano Ronaldo on at 4-0 down in a Manchester derby and say, Cristiano, can you turn this for us?
I think Ten Hag's shown him a lot of respect. I probably fit, you know, I'm not manager, and you know what I mean, I can't say what he should or shouldn't do, but like
you can say from a player's point of view.
From a player's point of view, I think he showed him a lot of respect. It's something that I can understand, because if I'm going to be totally honest, seeing Cristiano Ronaldo coming on at 4-0, it's you know, it's going to kind of make him feel, it's going to make people feel like, well, what's going on here? At the same time, the Man United player, the manager should be able to bring him on whenever he wants. I thought like Ten Hag's done well for him in that respect. You've got to remember, everybody's saying, they were 4-0. He was playing when they were 4-0 down at like Brentford. So it's not like, oh my gosh, he's you know what I mean, he should have been starting, he shouldn't have been. He's been there when they've been 4-0 down. But like, you know, with Cristiano, what you're going to do, it's a massive problem. We know in respects of, you know, him wanting to leave, should he be there, isn't he there? I probably will play him. While he's there, I'd probably play him because he does score goals. He scores goals. Whether or not he would have done it against Manchester City or not, yes, we don't know. But at the same time, you know, he's the one who's scoring goals, and that's what it's about. It's up to the other players to get up to speed, whether they've got a plan B or not, whether that team's good enough or not, lacking confidence, they're still going through a transition. The fact is that he's there to be used. For me, he should start the game. I would start the game with him.
And then, as you say, it still doesn't guarantee that you're not going to be 4-0 down at half-time.
He scores goals. He scores goals for you, and while he's there, you should use him to do that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing. Same with Casemiro. You know, we're talking about a very experienced winning player who in this kind of game is going to probably be able to, you know what I mean, navigate what's going on a little bit better than maybe the players that were in there. Doesn't start. Can't understand it.
Do you think that, I mean, there's a lot of man management going on here, you feel, from Erik ten Hag as well, like changing a team that's won their last 4 games and bringing Casemiro in just for the City game might be part of his man management strategy as well?
Yeah, but I don't know. No, Kels, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. Simply because we're talking about, even if he's somebody who's trying to get up to speed, we're talking about somebody who's played in massive games. He knows how to deal with this. Same with Ronaldo. They're coming up. We can't take away from the fact that they're coming up against a Man City side that really, they respect teams, but they've got no respect for teams. They're just going out and they're going to blast you. Whether he's got Casemiro or Ronaldo in, they're going to do what they done yesterday. I just believe that with them two in, you've got maybe a little bit of a better chance. Yeah. But saying that, you know, there doesn't seem to be any plan B, and the confidence left that Man United team very, very quickly, and because they're trying to build something. I
keep going back to this Ronaldo point, because I think as long as he's there, as long as he's at the club, and they didn't manage to sort of deal out for him to leave in the last transfer window, there is always going to be focus on him, because you have one of the greatest players ever, is 37 now, doesn't seem to want to play in the way that Erik ten Hag wants to set the team up. And so there's an issue to be solved there. But because it's Ronaldo, we're always going to focus on. He's always going to pull focus. The cameras, we're always going to talk about him while he's there. Can you, though, ask him at 4-0 down at half-time to come on? Could you do that as a manager? If you're...
I would ask him.
Yeah?
I would talk to him. I wouldn't just make that decision at 4-0 down. I always show him the respect, and I say, Cristiano.
Yeah, but isn't that a power imbalance? Because as the head coach or the manager, shouldn't you be the one making decisions rather than putting decisions in the hands of a player?
Flow, the game's dead. It's not a question of us turning it around and getting back in the game. So that is over. Now it's just a case of speaking to the man. You don't want to lose him. I agree with Righty. I think if he's in your squad, depending on who's ahead of him, but we're talking about Man United, are you telling me Marcus Rashford's a better number 9 than Cristiano Ronaldo? I won't even hear it, even at 37.
I still think in that scenario, I don't know, I still feel like in that scenario it feels strange to put the power in the hands of the player when, from a man management point of view, you've still got to hold the power and show that you're the one making decisions, not the players.
What do you think the answer would have been if you would have asked Cristiano if he wanted to come in at 4-0 down?
I don't know.
I think he would have said yes.
I think he would have said yes.
Do you?
I think he would have done. Yeah,
because he's on 699 club goals. Does he want his 700 to come as a 4-1 against Manchester City?
I don't think Cristiano cares when they come, and just as long as they keep coming. I mean, he knows now, he knows full well he's not got long left in the game.
I think players want to play, right? So I think any opportunity to get on the pitch, regardless of the score, he'd probably take it.
Flo. There's something quite respectful about Ten Hag and what he's done. And this is why I think I don't want people to get confused what Tim's saying about it asking, because now I'm thinking it. Because it's him.
So respect rather than power?
Yeah, because it's him, I'd ask him. Because you do like the adage of no player is bigger than the club. When you're looking at Cristiano Ronaldo and where Man United are at the moment, the fact that we're talking about Ten Hag, mentioning to him, listen, it says to me at the moment, he's bigger than the club at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way Cristiano is, because like you say, all the focus is on him. So I think that it's an awkward one for so long as he's there. It's always going to be awkward for the manager, and the manager's now having to make decisions It's really got nothing to do with what's going on the pitch, really. It's to deal with this guy.
And also, I think,
crazy.
regardless if Ronaldo had played in that game or not, the issue was a gaping hole in midfield that was caused by McTominay and Eriksen.
Yes.
And Ronaldo probably wouldn't have changed that at all. I think it was the wrong formation, and the players didn't understand the roles and responsibilities and who had to go where. And that's the beauty of a Man City team, because they pull you out of position, they make you make those decisions. But Ronaldo wouldn't have changed the game, because he would have done exactly the same what Marcus Rashford would do, which was change nothing, which was create more gaps and have nothing to chase. So I actually think, you know, at the end of the day, just like Ian said, he's driving more headlines when actually it should really be about a lot of the decisions that Ten Hag did wrong.
Yeah. And if you don't go 4-0 down at half-time, you don't have the decision of whether to bring on Cristiano Ronaldo.
From his point of view, when I was sitting there when it was 4-0, I was thinking, well, at least he's not going to be the scapegoat this week. You know, when it's at Brentford, it was his fault. You know, it's Cristiano Ronaldo, it's his fault. I mean, of course it's not. But, and we talk about Ten Hag and how he wants to play and he doesn't fit into... How does he want to play? I mean, I'm still scratching my head to see a real clear formula of how he wants to play. So, at the moment, why not play one of the greatest players we've ever seen?
That is a debate that will continue to rage, as we said, as long as Erik Ten Hag is sitting on the bench and looking over his shoulder, and there is Cristiano Ronaldo. Up next...
The last couple of seasons, he's pushed out players he didn't want at the football club, made some big decisions, but he's got a young team that's hungry, that's on the same page tactically, they play some lovely football, and that all panned out. Thomas Partey, Rob, I know you talked about him a lot before the game, was an important player to be fit, because we didn't know whether he was going to be fit. He scores the first goal after something like 20 minutes. And Arsenal's football, Rob, continues to be impressive. And I remember the last game, who was it? They beat Brentford away 3-0. I remember saying on our set, that was a pretty perfect performance. Well, I think the Gabriel foul for the Spurs penalty was an error. Other than that, it was kind of perfect as well.
Well, Spurs did have a few looks. Just before we go into a bit more detail in that, again, you know, think about the game last night, think about the two teams, think about the way it played. Obviously, we have to mention the red card.
Yeah. Let's quickly mention that. We
both thought it was yellow. I know, and people can look and say, well, it was high, you know, it endangered maybe the safety of the opponent. I don't think there's that much force in it, Rob. I think it's a kind of foul in a derby that I think you could give a yellow in a conversation too. I think, you know, nobody was saying you made a bad decision, but listen, it was given. Spurs went down to 10. What I would say from Arsenal's point of view, their football then really started to show. It did start to punish Spurs, and they with the possession in the way they played. Just want to say on a slightly bigger picture, and you talked about the contrast, and that was the big story of the game. You know, Arsenal getting on the ball because they played well against Manchester United and lost. And people said, well, you know, against big six teams, is this going to happen? In your view, if you're a coach, which is the harder style of play to manage, to input in your team? Is it the bravery of Arsenal who get on the ball, and because of that, Rob, you're more likely to sometimes turn over, make mistakes, and have transitions, or is it harder to be a Spurs who have to be disciplined, who have to stay in a shape, who can't come out of positions, maybe don't get as much joy in your football, but you're winning games? I think that's an interesting one in terms of styles and managers, and which players would prefer to play and what's better.
Well, so I think players would prefer to play the proactive, how are we going to break down the opponents? To your first question, I think it's harder to coach that way. I think it's easier to set a team up, this is our shape, you know, whatever it is, 5-3-2, 4-4-2, whatever it is, you make sure you're there. We can do tons of shadow play against an 11, the kids of the youth team or something. You can get really, really kind of drilled pretty quickly on a shape. And then, of course, you work on when you turn over, you make a run, you stay high, whatever that might be. I think that's easier, Rob, than being a coach of a team where it's like, okay, right, we got different defences every week to try and figure out. We're going to be expansive. We're going to have to take risks. We're going to try and play out from the back. We're going to have fullbacks play really, really high. We're going to have movements in midfield. You know, it's got
There's
to be harder.
There's a lot more that can go wrong in that system, isn't
there
it?
is. And the way that you do your thing can change. Now, Pep is an example at Man City. They've got 2 or 3 different game plans that they can all go to now. Depending on how the opponents, and I saw Pep say this, we change a little bit depending on how our opponents defend and how they attack. So that It takes time to be that groove. But in a long-winded answer, isn't it got to be harder to design attacking themes, to design ideas of, okay, we're going to try and get a turn there, we're going to try and find a way to get in behind defenders there, we're going to we're going to work on overlapping fullbacks. I think there's a whole lot more creativity, not just from the players, but from the coach, in terms of how that.
I would totally agree, and that's why I wanted to say that I think extra credit has to go to Mikel Arteta, because in every game this season, you can see what they're trying to do. They've generally won, obviously, more games than with the one defeat. We've seen a grooved style of football and a personality to Arsenal that we haven't seen probably since the Wenger days. It's very early on, and I know people will get carried away. Thomas Frank last week after Brentford game said Arsenal are title contenders. I thought that was a little premature. I still do. And I know you believe that there's a possibility that they can stay there. They're going to have bumps on the road. They're going to have disappointments. How they get over them are going to be interesting. But from the game itself, Rob, as you say, they got off to start, dominated early possession, pushed Spurs back. Spurs were almost happy to sit back.
Very passive, Rob. Very passive.
And we talked about on air at times when you sit back in that sort of passive mode.
Deep block.
There's a false security sometimes, isn't there? We're behind the ball, we're okay. And when Arsenal worked it in, Thomas Partey got the ball, we did a breakdown, and he probably had like 10 yards of space around him, which you can't leave any player of that quality on the edge of the box who's going to score your goal.
Yeah, and also, I think the second goal, okay, Saka found some space.
Yeah, coming back inside,
sort of shoot, the shot cross was
couldn't handle.
Yeah. And then, kind of tying in the midfield and Granit Xhaka's goal, that is on the back of what we've just been talking about. His position now is actually the left side of a diamond for Arsenal when they build up on it. So that's when people say he's getting forward a lot more. Well, he is, because the way they play now, that's what's in it. And you've seen him crossing balls to headed goals. Jesus,
he did beautiful. Yeah, he played him.
And then this one, he gets himself in a good spot where he finishes off really nicely. So from Arsenal's point of view, really, really great. And I think, like the point you made at the beginning, Rob, about the Man United game, it's the first test. They lost. This was a second test. I just thought it was really important for them and where they're at right now. They win the game. They get the positivity, the belief from the fans, but also themselves that, hang on, they've just beaten Spurs pretty handily. We played well against Man United, and the rest of it's been pretty good. Listen, we'll talk about Man City. You're Mikel Arteta. You've got to say to me, we can go on, we can get closer. Yeah. Because if anything happens in the World Cup, Rebecca mentioned today, Rob, on our show, who knows what's going to happen in the World Cup? Who's going to be injured and what player's state of mind? I know Haaland's not going to the World Cup, but if there's an injury to him at some point, and City then drop off, Arsenal got to be there. They've got to be absolutely right there, whatever point in the season, to try and win this Premier League title. They've come so far in a couple of seasons with smart coaching, smart recruitment, big decisions. It continued to me, and we both know millions of Arsenal fans. Yeah. They've got to be so blooming happy that finally they've got a team to be proud of that played lovely football.
I think you're right in that one. And Arsenal fans, whether you're in the UK or here in the US, you see these are Graham so made. I thought really important point. He said there's a different feel about the Emirates when you go to the football club now, and that's important. That it's almost like this team are growing with them, understanding that there might be a few disappointing days. I'll say one thing again. I've tried to sort of go on to some UK, US radio shows and just get a temperature of what fans are talking about and what's out there. And I've kind of got an interesting debate where an Arsenal fan came and said, back in the day, maybe even the Emery and people like that, it was a bit like, we haven't got a leader, we haven't got a captain, and I think people tend to go back to the Tony Adams days, the John Terry days, where there's one big guy. And I remember looking on social media yesterday, Rob, and you did a breakdown during the first half where after the party goal, Granit Xhaka got everybody together. There was a shot of Gabriel Jesus after the game getting everybody together. I've seen Martin Odegaard a couple of times getting These aren't big physical shaking a fist, you do this job. It's like players in the dressing room feeling they have an important role and they're sort of giving their opinion and alley. It's like there's a collective group of captains in that football club. Now I think that's important for Arteta in this group, because nobody seems bigger, better than anybody else. Aubameyang was a bit different, and it didn't quite fit, and they've got rid of him, and they're a better outfit for that now.
Don't you think that we're seeing leaders develop in this Arsenal team?
Yeah.
But they're all young. I mean, it's such a young team.
Yeah, apart from Xhaka and Partey.
And with that feeling of like this something special's happening, I think leaders emerge. And I think Granit Xhaka has got that in him.
Yeah.
You know, he's that type. But, you know, he's seen Odegaard, you know, come forward as a leader. Gabriel Jesus. He's won it before. He's still a young player, but he's at Arsenal. You know what? He can be a leader. So I think with the confidence that gains from this run and the way they're playing, I think you're going to see leaders emerge. I mean, what's his name? William Saliba, the new defender. I mean, he looks like, again, is he going to emerge into a league? Why not? Why can't? Right now, I'm sure he's like, back at Arsenal, I'm playing, it's going great. But he is absolutely another one that will, I think, emerge as a leader. So sometimes you can't sign all these leaders. They kind of happen. And I think over the period of time, Rob, I think both me and you have been captains. But that wasn't something you kind of grow into that role. I don't know.
With experience, with
natural,
wins, and then people look at you differently, expect more from you, and you put more pressure on yourself. You're right. From Spurs' point of view, Rob, obviously disappointing to lose the North London derby. What will be Antonio Conte's biggest regret? I heard somebody yesterday say his biggest regret should be that he didn't go to win the game. He went there to not get beat.
That's it, it's a style, isn't it?
But I don't think, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't think he's got a secure enough back three to be able to play this role. I think the other parts of the team, and Benton, Kerr and Højbjerg are not the world's best, but I think with a proper back three behind them, and then what they've got up front, I think they could get away with the midfield. But I'm not sure that back three are secure enough. And
trust them, defend with a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, with against big games when it's coming from all kinds of angles to keep a clean sheet or stop people getting a look at our goal.
The other side of that angle then, right? If you believe that, if we sit back and be strong as a shape, if you don't believe in that, then if they're going to be expansive, isn't that going to be more porous?
No, I'm not saying being expansive. I'm saying to play that style, I think you've got to have better versions of what he's got at the back.
He's got to go back in the market?
Well, I think so. Only because Longley's come in and been still can't quite work him out, Rob. I haven't seen enough games. I'm probably going to just watch a game and watch him from there. Romero is not quite developed as I thought.
I like him though. I like him.
Eric Dyer has had better form, but again, he's one of them that I'm not 100% sure. In the past, Conte's had the kind of centre-backs who put their body on the line, who are leaders, who get tired, who are not going to allow people to get on. John Terry's and people, and Cahill's and people like that. These players at the moment aren't. Now, again, you talk about development, they could grow into that. But I just feel at the moment, the style they play, it's going to be difficult for them to be really successful against the top teams.
And then when you've got Richarlison, Harry Kane and Heung-min Son and Kulusevski, these star players that are so starved at the ball because they're asked to defend all the time. It's the same argument with them, isn't it? It's the way he does it.
Yeah.
And he's still, he's
they've got lots of goals, haven't they?
They're right there.
The goals are good.
They're third place in the league table.
Yeah, 19 goals.
With a lot of potential for improvement. Still, I don't think he's still short of his back five, his wing backs. Emerson Royale gets,
Perisic and you talk like, is he going to try and get Basuma in the team at some point? Maybe his energy and athleticism and ability to play. Could he just give him something else? Maybe go two up front. We'll see. We'll see. But great day for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta won the North London derby. Let's move it to today, my friend, and a big Manchester derby. We were spoilt with football and drama and highlights today. Let's start our conversation as we started the day. Team sheets came out. Team sheets came out. Yeah. We looked at City. A little surprised Rodri wasn't playing, but we heard he got knocked in training. Gundogan played in there. Kanji and Ake as a two centre-back pairing. John Stones wasn't available. Laporte and Diaz.
Diaz on the bench.
Laporte's
been injured.
Yeah,
Diaz
on the bench.
Maybe he's got something.
A little bit of a head scratch, but whatever. Everything else pretty much as you would think. KDB, Silva, Foden, Grealish in the team, Haaland up front. Kind of what you would expect from City, and we kind of knew what kind of game it was going to be from them.
Yep.
United, very different, my friend. In Same team that played against Arsenal, same 11, same setup. Thoughts about Casemiro coming in the team? Obviously not. He's gone with Eriksen and McTominay holding. Bruno in front, Sancho one side, Antony the other, Marcus Rashford up front. September player of the month. Big call for the manager. And I talked about the trust and the belief that he must have and he must have seen, and it must be, the dressing room. We did both talk, and it's not talking after the event, about feeling that Casemiro, it's maybe his kind of day with what they need, and could they find a way to keep Eriksen in the team? Is this more a manager's mistrust? Or did he not read how good Manchester City are?
I think there's two parts here. Was he naive thinking this team with these individuals, Antony and Bruno and Eriksen and Sancho?
Well, that's mistrust,
and
isn't it? That's believing they can do that, and actually they couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, is there a day? Okay, was there a day, or could there be a day that they go there with that team and their football's spot on and they beat City? Because I don't know whether there is a day like that. Today was bad for them. They give the ball away a lot. We focused on that in our chats and stuff. They give the ball away a lot, which of course you can't afford to do. We were surprised, Rob, because it's such a attack-minded, not physically or Antony, Eriksen, Sancho, Bruno Fernandes away from Man City. My goodness, you've got to work without the ball there. You've got to work without the ball because City is so good on it. The other thing I thought, Rob, on this, and maybe I'm jumping ahead here a little bit, but maybe Erik ten Hag's thinking, I'm not gonna mess around changing my team for anybody. We're building something here. Yeah. We've won the last 4 games. I like what Antony's done. Do I have to leave him out and bring in Casemiro and change things around, or bring Fred in or whatever? Do I really want to do that? Or do I want to give trust to my players? And you know what? We might get a spanking. We might take one, which I do. But it ain't going to derail what we've done up to this point, and we're going to jump back in the saddle for the European game, and then Everton next weekend, and they'll go back to maybe the form issue. Can he disregard it that quick? Maybe he can.
Really good point. What I would say, Rob, in answer to that is, and I don't know the answer, but if that is the case, and it's very possible that he's that kind of manager, Pep would do the same in his way. Maybe in Ajax he's done the same.
It's not going to change.
It's going to change. It's not going to change. If you're one of those players, Rob, how has today affected you? Because we saw shots at the end where, Bruno Fernandes is starting to argue with the referee and his teammates, and Martinez is looking like, and people are looking down the gun. And I hear what you're saying, but that could have taken... Marcus Rashford went back to the Marcus Rashford we saw in the first 2 games. So is that being...
I don't think it's damaging. You're asking if it's been... I don't think it's damaging for those players. I think they learnt a lesson. That they were trusted to play today, and wow, okay,
so what do you do? What do you do at? Let's just say, what do you do at Everton? Same again. So Casemiro and Ronaldo and stay on the bench.
Given his philosophy, I mean, I think you're going to suggest that maybe it's time for changes.
A couple of changes, it might be. If he wants to do it, he's got now the opportunity.
I think he sticks with the same team. I think he'll give him some more weeks. If there's some more setbacks, then okay. Maybe we should play an extra man in midfield. Maybe
so you're saying against the general Premier League team, he goes with what he thinks, but the Manchester Cities of the world, the uni, maybe has to rethink that one, or not be over worried about that result,
right?
Because that isn't the result that's most important to
him. Because
the
other
30.
I don't want to change things, mess things around just for one game. If he doesn't get results against Everton away and then Newcastle at home, they're the next 2 games. If he doesn't get results, then now maybe I've got to do a little change. Then he'll stick with that for a little bit.
Well, he actually came out, Robin said, and it was interesting, and I'll paraphrase him, but he didn't want to put Ronaldo on at 4-0 down because it would have affected his, the career of a great player.
This is a talking point. We've got to talk about this.
I mean, and he also said about, was it Casemiro, that he's come into the team, we've been winning, so he's almost got to wait for the natural time to come back into the team.
Now, listen, I would have done it differently. I'm just saying that. My last couple of minutes just sort of saying, well, maybe this is philosophy. I would have played Casemiro. Pay $84 million for a player like that. I think you have to make changes, adjustments for this sort of game. It doesn't look like he's going to be a tinker. He's going to be not stick by. He's not going to be a tinker man. Ronaldo, 4-0 down. One of the best forwards ever. He's sat on your bench. The director of the match is going to him many times. What? Play him. You explain to me what the manager means by I respect his career.
He didn't want him to be part of a team and a performance that could have ended up 6 or 7 and him being in the team.
They got 3 goals. What if they don't?
Martial,
fair play, Martial come on, did well, but he still could have brought Ronaldo.
Yeah. I'm not saying. I'm just delivering the message.
How was that gonna pan out? By the way, Ronaldo. How was that gonna pan out now? Is he going to sit on the bench? What's the point?
But you're saying, or the indication is that if he's going to go with what he's going, Casemiro and Ronaldo, they're going to sit there for a little while.
Well, again, this isn't what I would do.
No,
this is what I think
I'm
might
saying.
happen.
You think he might do?
I mean, how long is he going to be happy?
That's why Casemiro doesn't come from Real Madrid, who didn't want to sell him, who's playing with Kroos and Modric and winning all kind of trophies, to say, you know what, I'll let McTominay play.
You know what? Maybe it's more embarrassing for Ronaldo. He'll probably play in Cyprus for their Europa League. Is he going to be the Europa League guy, Ronaldo? So, I mean, it's obviously a setback. The back four, listen, I'm not going to knee-jerk this up. The back four is better now. He's made a difference to that. Eriksen in midfield generally is good. Against Man City, not so sure. Anthony scores a lovely goal, by the way. You know, and he's learning. He's getting used to the football. Jadon Sancho, Robbie Orr,
was poor.
You didn't like his performance?
No, I didn't like it at all. I thought he didn't show much heart. I thought he lacked a bit of drive, couldn't affect the game with his ability, didn't affect the game with his energy, didn't affect the game with his athleticism. You know, he's a former City kid, come through the academy. Marcus Rashford didn't get a lot of service, didn't help, but didn't really see anything of him at all. So, just a few issues, a few questions for Ten Hag to think about over the next few days. You say they've got the Europa League coming up on Thursday, which is a bit of a distraction, but he can get some minutes under some players. Then we get back to Premier League action, Rob, and he's got to get things right.
I just don't think, for some reason, compared to other times they've been like hit for 6 or whatever, I just don't think this one, strangely, is as damaging.
Because of the manager and the way he's going about.
Because there was some forward steps. And he was naive today to think that this team could compete with City with that lineup.
Maybe he didn't.
But I don't think it's going to change his mind about too much about his starting lineup.
Maybe he didn't realise the unique test that is massive. Let's talk a little bit about City.
Somebody who is unique.
The big guy. I mean, him, freak. I mean, 3 hat-tricks now in 3 successive Premier League home games, 9 goals. That's as many as United have got all season, isn't it? 8 goals. No, so you've got 14 on the year, but 14 in all.
17 goals in 11 all comps.
14 Premier League goals. 14 Premier League. That's as many as Manchester United. No, more than Manchester United.
That's a ton.
11.
It's 11 goals. I mean, we are looking at, right, and it's not yet. We're looking at potentially the best scorer, certainly the Premier League has ever seen. Now, I get before people go crazy.
Yeah, he's got to keep the rate up. He's got to keep the
rate up and everything else. But I'm saying potentially.
Yeah, he's 22 years of age, by the way.
We've never seen numbers like this.
No.
We're going to track.
We've had great strikers in Shearer, Henry, Wright.
Brilliant players we've had.
You know, Owen, all in
different
great
types.
Yeah,
and this guy is different.
Yeah.
But the sheer numbers. Given the strength of Man City, given the players around him to create and to pass. I mean, De Bruyne, the cross for his goal to get it this way. When do we start talking like that, Rob? I mean, where's this going to go? Where's this going to go?
We have to start now because we have to appreciate him now, Rob. We sometimes in football we don't like to appreciate what's here now and talk about current and say he's a great. We like to do that of past players and you know, I'm talking about the Shearers and that.
And longevity is
required. But based on what we've seen from 8 games, Rob,
he's an absolute beast.
Incredible. It's incredible. I mean,
of all different types of goals. I mean, every type of goal, Rob.
Let me tell you, and I think we made this a similar point. We saw him, he got knocked to the floor in a build-up. He got up, he half-paced, that he was running quicker than everybody else. His hunger to get goals is more insatiable than Mo Salah, who's one of the biggest recent goal-scoring forward threats I've known. This guy's need was once in the first half, Rob, and it's just little things you pick up as, you know, with body language. Jack Grealish went through, did the dummy, and tried to poke it to Haaland to get Haaland the shot, and it got cut out, and Haaland was like going mad. not necessarily Jack, but almost with himself. Like, that's another chance gone. That was another. It's like it's incredible his drive and his physicality to keep getting in the same place and keep putting the ball in the net.
And his technique. The goal where he swept it in with his left foot. Was that
one touch finish, the second goal.
I mean, the power from the corner. And then I mean, it's his technique, it's his speed, it's his physicality, it's his mentality. We saw Tyrone Mings trying to grab him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out something that, with being faced within the Premier League, that he isn't to overcome. Set pieces, yes. Free kicks, yes. Penalties, yes. Tap-ins, yes. Shots from outside the box, yes. Crossed balls, attacks it with his feet or with his head. And his pace. I mean, that moment, I was like, what is going on here? I mean, he got up, he looked like he was jogging,
and
he ran past everybody to get into the box. And you say you look at things, you know, there's something in him. I looked at him afterwards in his interview, and you look into his eyes, and there was talking about, you know, he stood there with Phil Foden, and just we're in a good spot. I'm pleased right now. He is so hungry to achieve, and we got the sense of that around interviews before joining City, after joining City. We know his dream to win the Champions League. He is straight ahead, mentality-wise, everything that you want from a player. And by the way, we've never spoke this crazy hyperbolic about anybody. So this isn't something that we do lightly.
Yeah, no.
This is something special.
We in fact, probably go the other way. And you know, let's calm down. He's tell you a couple of things and I read stories. And again, just backstories, but almost tells you about the man. Today, when he was on the pitch and the cameras went to him, he passed the ball to Foden as if like, go on, you have this match ball. I've got some and I'm going to get more. It was like, you have this. And then this talk that, Rob, he often goes and sits in the academy dressing room, talks with the players and, you know, motivates them. And he's like, he's 22 years of age, so he's probably more in touch with them than he is maybe some of the older players.
And humble.
Yeah, just
humble.
Yeah.
It's like we've noticed now that after games, when he scores a hat-trick, almost every game, the camera, there's always a guy with his what do you call him? The guy with the mobile.
Like the remote camera that follows.
Yeah, the remote camera follows him around. Yeah. He always shoos him away. Get away. He doesn't want it to be about him. And that's what it must feel like. I never had a camera follow me coming off a pitch. But it's like, here's the star player. Let's look at him. He never wants that. So he's humble, big heart, desire, quick. I mean, and assists. He's got a big number of assists.
Got a couple of assists. And today, I just want to. Well, there's two people I want to mention. Phil Foden, by the way.
Yep.
Comes from a different place. Come through the academy, Rob. We talked about him before the game. 22 years of age. Has become a really important part of Manchester City's first team now. When we talk about City's best team, Phil Foden's in it. Affects the game. Goal threat, goal scoring, assists. English born, and could go on to have a glowing career.
Yep.
So Phil Foden deserves a little bit of credit. My underappreciated player of the week, Robbie Musto.
Erling Haaland.
Erling Haaland, we've just loved.
Plenty of appreciation for him.
Phil Foden, we love. Kevin De Bruyne, we love. Manuel Akanji.
Oh,
we are starting to love. Bought on the transfer deadline, $90 million from Borussia Dortmund. I heard Pep say he played against us in Champions League and he hurt us with his passing. And because of that, he's somebody who's always on the radar. We had a chance to take him for $19 million. Sneaky, good business.
$19 million.
$19 million, Rob. Today, if Laporte or Diaz have got a knock or not quite ready, sit yourself down. The big guy will go on. By the way, Rashford didn't have a great day, hooked him in, came out with the ball a couple of times, Rob.
Really
had a hand in the first goal from Foden where he gets into midfield, stops it, plays it out. Looks composed, looks athletic, it's a good age, looks reliable. A great one in the mix, Rob, for a club that's going to be chasing on forefront, lots of games, World Cup coming up, don't quite know where we are. You can't have too many good, solid centre-halves.
And they need special centre-backs. And maybe it's an area where in the past they've conceded goals where they shouldn't have. I always think Pep needs a heroic centre-back.
Who's going to dive in.
And the Bayern Munich centre-backs.
He's had the Vincent Companies and all that.
So another one. Great shout. And like you, it's like today watching, it's like, this guy, there's been a couple of games, I think it's 3 games.
3 games on the bounce, it's 4 games. It's his fourth straight game now.
Well done, Man City.
Brilliant, Man City. Let's talk about a team that's not quite going to plan. Liverpool. 3-3 with Brighton. Pretty much outplayed for most of the first half. Got back into the game 2-1, having been 2-0 down. end up winning, getting to a point where they're winning the game 3-2 courtesy of an own goal, give up a late goal through Trossard. Roberto deserved a lot of credit for coming in and
keeping it rolling,
keeping things ticking along now. So lovely line from him I'll mention a little bit. But let's talk about Liverpool, Rob, because this is a different Liverpool than we've seen for pretty much the entire Klopp reign. Something doesn't quite feel right.
Listen, Liverpool were on the path for a quadruple last year.
Yeah.
They were incredible, and Pep got pipped by Man City for 1 point. The drop off to this point now, and again, 7 or 8 games in Liverpool. Yeah. I think they've played 8 games now. Long way to go, but yeah, night and day, isn't it? It's night and day, and you know, I think we've always listened to Jurgen Klopp very closely about, or when he speaks, and for him to say, "Wow, we were all over the place," you know, players not knowing whether to press, whether to drop back. That gives opponents plenty of time to get turned, to play the ball in behind. We mentioned many times, Rob, about this high line, and I mentioned last year, and people came back to me on social media, well, you know, it's all planned and they're still doing great, which they were, but there were so many times where they looked like they were vulnerable. That's all come to roost a little bit this time. We know that Trent Alexander-Arnold, Rob's been under extra scrutiny because of Gareth Southgate, not really involved in him in England. His place in the World Cup squad is somewhat in question.
Didn't have a great game either, I have to say, against Brighton.
And Virgil van Dijk has been the rock, really, over recent seasons. Apart from the season that he was out injured, the Pickford challenge on him really early, this point in the season. Does he have to take more responsibility?
Yeah.
Does he have to stand up and puff his chest out and start leading by his actions on the field?
Yeah. And it's hard to criticise, Rob, a player who's been imperious since he's gone into the football club, has been the Rolls Royce, has been the difference for Liverpool, and many said he was the most important signing. Get all that. Right now, he's nowhere near that level. He needs to get back to basics, to defending, to leading, to getting tight to people, to putting his foot in, to stop looking like it's all about how I look and how I...
Everything's under control.
It's not under control. And Trent's getting a lot of stick, and some of it maybe is warranted. Others, some people I think, going a little bit over the top. He's a wonderful footballer who's having a bad time at 22 years of age. That happens. But Virgil van Dijk, Rob, right now, should be getting hold of this back line and becoming a leader and pushing us up. And if we're too high, and bringing us back and talking to this point and getting his fullbacks ready and all that. And the longer that this goes on, the more Liverpool are going to continue to have problems.
Alarm bells are ringing. You know what I thought was interesting a few weeks ago, maybe even longer than that? James Milner. Some of his body language. Remember him going up to Van Dijk?
He went to Van Dijk because he didn't close a shot down against Fulham.
Right.
First day of the season.
Right. Was it? It's almost like Milner's sensing this. Like, we ain't right. We're not right here.
Probably seen the little things in
training. Never seen him so angry
but sometimes those things a little bit in training.
Well, maybe he's noticed.
Just not quite at it. Just not quite putting it in. We're a yard short where we used to be. It's a good shout because you get the sense. And the problem for James Milner is now his physicality is dropping, so he can't quite affect things as he would love to by his actions. But he's certainly vocally and, like you say, maybe seeing things that he doesn't like. Let's also let me throw another one. Mo Salah, Robbie Mustoe, is not the Mo Salah we've seen over the last few years. Now strikers go through patches and a bit hot and a little bit cold, and people will talk about the big contract. And I'm not in any way saying it's just a contract, but Mo Salah is not the Mo Salah we've seen over recent years. Trent Alexander-Arnold is getting some stick. Virgil van Dijk is probably just way down. Mo Salah is way down. Jordan Henderson and Thiago have had injury problems, but not having the effect on the football club that they were. You start to name 5 or 6 of that level players, and Mo Salah is one of them, Rob. Yeah. We're not getting anywhere near.
Well, that's too many players, isn't it? Too many players that aren't finding form. I mean, you've got other options up front now. We've seen that. Now, this is a bigger challenge as he's had. He said that this was like Liverpool when I first took over. You know, with their performance and
confidence. Rob, I heard there was an interview yesterday with Arsene Becker. He said confidence is really low. We've got to pick it up, and Klopp sort of hinted out as well. That surprises me a little bit.
It surprises me a little bit as well. Is the answer, Rob, as we finish up on Liverpool a little bit? Is it that that they try and do what they're trying to do better, or do they have to reevaluate it? Remember after the Napoli game, we talked about it. We said, and I think one of the players, I think the manager, it's time for a rethink.
Yeah,
because that's not okay.
Yeah, you said,
so it's time for a rethink.
Yeah,
I think we talked about it,
and then they got to win at the weekend.
They got to win on something like that's better.
Yeah.
They've jumped right back into that rut
rethink
and that disappointing performance level. What are they going to do now? Rethink again.
The intensity is gone. That high energy intensity that used to be
they
part of that game.
Can they play as high?
Yeah, I don't
without
think they
that
can.
press.
I don't think
leaving
they can.
all that green grass in behind.
I don't think they can. And I wonder whether it's changing that. I don't know if it's a 4-2-3-1. Does that help? Does 3 at the back help? Maybe with Trent going on? Is it, I know that's not his way, and people tend to have a certain structure, but there's definitely some rethinking to do for Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool. I think their challenge is going to be to get to top 4 now, Rob, based on where they are.
Rebecca asked us about when they are at the title challenge, and we're like, nowhere near it.
Quick mention, Roberto De Zerbi came into the football club. The Italian. Sassuolo, wasn't he? And Shakhtar Donetsk, I think, left on mutual terms. Good. Looks like another good pickup for Brighton, Rob. Looks the mould. Heard him on the radio yesterday. Loved what he said in that he said, I'm privileged to take this group that Graham Potter's coached. I'm not going to change too much, but I'm going to bring some things that hopefully can make us better. What a great appreciation of what's been done, what he can do, and we hear he's a good coach. He wants possession, he wants attacking football, and already you see a relationship with the players. Brilliant performance, typical Brighton performance with goal threat. Leandro getting goals, Trossard getting goals, and I just thought, what a good day for him.
And when Jurgen Klopp afterwards, Rob, says they did something a little different, it took us a bit of time to get used to that. He talked about some kind of boxing midfield, It was a 10 o'clock window. So it was like there's
stuff going on.
There's stuff for us to look at all over.
Yeah, you need to look at it.
But I'll look at that. But that, that's clever, isn't it? Yeah, he loves possession. He's very much. I mean, that's great. Joined up thinking by Brighton and Hove Albion Football Club.
Owners,
the owners and Dan Ashworth, some of the higher ups there to get the right person. I mean, what a start! What a start there to get that 3-3 at Anfield.
Let's get to Selhurst Park, my friend, because there was a really interesting game back here. Conor Gallagher, part of the Chelsea squad, going back to Selhurst Park, where he'd done so well on loan last season. A Crystal Palace team that was very attack-minded by
the lineup,
Patrick Vieira, who obviously feels that his team at home can force the opposition. Palace went 1-0 up. There was an incident in this game, Rob, that I think we slightly differed in how we saw it. It was a key decision in the game, and we're talking about a sort of foul and handball by Thiago Silva as Jordan Ayew's trying to run towards goal. The question is not was it a foul, but was it denial of a goal-scoring opportunity? I felt it was, because I didn't think that Chelsea defenders would get back or stop him getting a shot at goal. I think you felt they were closer, so we slightly disagreed on that. Chelsea got away with that. Thiago stayed on the pitch. He then assists the goal for Aubameyang, scores a lovely striker's goal. Conor Gallagher comes on and gets the winner, and Crystal Palace fans will feel badly aggrieved that he didn't go for them. And most of my Palace friends have said, if that was the other way, if that was Guy and Aubameyang going through, Guy would have got a red card. That's sometimes where Big Six teams get the benefit of refereeing decisions. Over to you, my friend.
Yeah, I hear it and I get it, and this is another subjective call on this rule. And what the main parts of it is, how far is he away from goal? Because this has to be an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. How far away from goal? What angle you've got to come in at? And is there any covering defenders? And when I looked at it, first of all, I'm like, he's got a little bit of work to do there. He's got to turn, he's got to bring the ball back. He's got, I think it was Jorginho coming back. Not the quickest player, but probably would have put pressure on to mean it wasn't an obvious goal-scoring situation. That was my take when I looked at it a couple of times. VAR, I guess, thought the same as me, but I absolutely hear it. You made a good argument. Palace fans are going to say that, but I think it generally was a good argument. I think it's kind of, could he have gone straight? If he can run to goal unopposed, then that is absolutely a dog show. I just thought two players come back to Jorginho's. Anyway, so I understand the owner, the joint owner of Steve Parish made a social media posting saying like this is crazy.
Want some consistency, didn't
and we all do. But So yeah, but other than that,
then we get the storyline with Conor Gallagher coming on, Rob. I mean, Graham Potter's first Premier League game in charge, makes a couple of subs. Christian Pulisic comes on, makes a little run, plays it into Gallagher. Gallagher gets his goal, and we're obviously in the studio. Rebecca's a little disappointed to see her Palace team going down. We're obviously just watching the game and seeing how it's played out. My sense was, Rob, watching the winner and obviously Gallagher getting goal, no celebration, respect for Palace. I know he's got a lot of admiration for the Palace fans, but just got the sense, Rob, like some of these players might have a bigger chance in it. It might be an opportunity where they'll get a bit more of a longer run. He's going to look at it through a different set of eyes. Yeah. Whereas Tuchel looked like he'd almost made up his mind on it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good point, yeah. I mean, you don't like to say his favourites, but he seemed to have players that he picked a lot. It's just, I think you're absolutely right. Now, we know, of course, the teams that are in Europe are going to be playing every week. Yeah. Right through
all the way through,
like weekend, midweek. Yeah. So a lot of players are going to get plenty of time. But I think we've seen him before at Brighton make some unexpected decisions. The players are playing in different spots. Yeah. McAllister.
Yeah.
Playing as number 10. And all of a sudden he's
defensive midfield player.
And it worked out great. So he does make a lot of changes. Christian Pulisic came on and done himself no harm at all by getting involved and squeezing the ball out to Conor Gallagher. I think looking at this, and there's 2 games now, of course, 2 games of Potter, and I've looked very closely at both of them. I had my eyes more on this one with Liverpool. He's changing things all the time. I mean, we did a big tactics session, Rob. Of course, I do the lineups, and I kind of went through what I saw against Salzburg for Potter, and this is what he did. He played Raheem Sterling as left wing back. Game kicks off. I'm like, right. I mean, it looked like a 4-2-3-1. Sterling's on the right hand side. So I'm like, blimey, that's different. Yeah. Start the second half, he actually played that way. And then he switched again to a back 4. Yeah. I mean, he's going to, and that's the nature of him anyway. But with a new team, new players, it's going to take him a few weeks, I think, to figure out the best formation for this group, the options that he's got. But I think there's one difference, Rob, which maybe is more important than any of this stuff. I see more of a determination for players at Chelsea to get in the box, to get the ball forward, to get in behind, than definitely from Thomas Tuchel. Tuchel's was more controlling and slower and back and across, and we've got to find our way through. How many times did they not score? And how many times did people complain about the attacking players? Lukaku,
not getting enough numbers.
Service.
Havertz,
Werner, all of them. Werner. This is early yet, but I feel like there's more of a desire to make things happen, which I think is going to help Chelsea. I'm excited to see how this is going to evolve, because a smart guy with a ton of good players in the squad, I think it's going to be good. But this little initial period of different systems and different players, that might last a few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think Graham Potter knows as Chelsea manager, you know, things have to, you still have to be winning games as you learn and getting things right.
So that's good that
they got the win and they don't want to get to the top 4. And obviously, address Champions League, it's not gone so well so far. We had another game today. We had Aston Villa going to Leeds, Rob. It was a game that was marred by a sending off early in the second half. Sinestra got sent off with 2 yellow cards. A bit foolish, really, with a bit of a trip on the first one. Then he doesn't allow a free kick, puts his foot up. A little bit of an experience. It's one of them where it's a bit harsh, and you'd like the referee to be able to have a word with him, but by letter of the law, he got it right. So Leeds down to 10 men for virtually the second half. Villa continued to push forward with Coutinho, with Bailey, with Watkins as a front 3. Had plenty of shots on goal. I think plenty of shots. I think it was like 17 shots.
But not enough.
Real good looks.
Well, but they did have 2 or 3 really good looks. Ollie Watkins had.
I thought 2. I would say.
One first half he went through, got blocked by the goalkeeper. Second half he went through on the inside right, and the one that came off the post.
Oh yeah. True,
I mean, I don't know how hard that was. But I just thought that Stephen Jones should have done a little more, a little earlier, to try and take advantage of having a man extra. Danny Ings sat on the bench. He came on, I think, with about 10 minutes to go or something.
Yeah, they had a bit of go, didn't they?
I know whether he should have come on a little earlier.
Yeah, Ramsey went off, didn't he?
Yeah, Ramsey is kind of a goal threat for midfield, and he's continued to go with Douglas Luiz, who came into the side, Kamara, and John McGinn. 3 similar-ish players. I think that's a position that he could have. Okay, one of those guys come off.
Yeah.
Maybe McGinn. I know he's captain.
Yeah, but it's about winning the game, isn't it?
And you have Ramsey to get in the box. You've got McGinn to back things up. And we only got one Patrick Bamford who's not really fit against two centre backs.
And you
triangle
really
around
push
him.
on that,
Really ask a lot more questions.
Pen them in a little bit.
That's my only criticism. I understand there's injuries, and it's great, Rob, because we had the opportunity to ask Stephen Jones questions.
Yeah, he came
live.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Jumped on our show.
Yeah. And he talked about, the chances are not being taken. We saw a couple of shots of him on the sideline, didn't we, where he's a bit frustrated that Watkins hasn't scored. I talked to him, Rob, about, they've had some defensive issues, and he talked, interesting enough, how it's changed the way they've had to play a little bit, not so much build out at the back.
But the best defended players are out.
Yeah.
Game as Forrest get this down this right hand side through Johnson hitting the byline. That could be a corner already inside the early few minutes. Forest winning that second ball. Kyoto actually running and driving to that central position. And it is going to be a corner, and it will be taken by Gibbs White. Big money side. Both these sides have conceded the most from set pieces this season. Leicester conceded 5, Forest 5. Those statistics you just don't want and represent why they are 19th and 20th. And Forest hurt Leicester. It's going to be right-footed from Gibbs White. It's a good ball pushed out by the goalkeeper. Comes out to O'Brien and it's blocked. Another corner got by Evans. Evans is complaining that he felt that there was a push in the 6-yard box when the ball was swept in. Leicester got it out. It's convincing. They're going to defend much better. Talk about Danny Ward, what he's about as a goalkeeper. Local pride at stake, of course. East Midlands Derby in the Premier League. Weekend of derbies, of course, as earlier mentioned, as broadcast. And Nottingham Forest, it's going to be right-footed this time. Doesn't reach a red shirt. There's a little bit of a bicycle kick from a player. And it's going to be dangerous play as expected. And offside flag as well. So Leicester will be against Captain Cook, who had bicycle kick, edge of the box just there, didn't connect also his initial pass. So McKenna and Cook in the heart of the defence. It's not the Arteta. The initial team sheet was correct. It's shown here. The local broadcasters as well. There's a bit of time now for Shrewsbury Hall to run down this left-hand side. Here's Jamie Vardy trying to approach the penalty box. It's now Leicester's turn, is it? It's not. It is. It would have been a corner to Leicester, but he's just strayed off from the initial ball from here at Shrewsbury Hall. James Maddison is the man of the moment. For sure, he's in his last 10 games been involved in 11 goal involvement, 7 goals, 4 assists. And you play football fantasy. I'm sure you'll be making transfers to put Maddison. I'll tell you simple I did. I've purchased Maddison and he's on the ball right now with a bit of space. They thread through to Vardy, looking to get another goal involvement. Leicester have played 5 of the top 6 this year. They've identified these fixtures of ways to get points on the board. This is Tillman's now back to Castagna. Tillmans gets it left-footed infield now, very much 25 yards from the penalty box. Leicester away from Forest. The ball's now back with the centre-back with the curly blonde hair. Castagna knows exactly what I'm talking about. Very long hair. Leicester centre-back is Maddison on the right-hand side. Goes infield now to Shrewsbury Hall. Spreads to the left-hand side. It's good from Leicester. It's Barnes inside the box now. Trying to put in his right foot. He crosses it, head out by Cook. That's fall to Shrewsbury Hall. Vardy's rolled a defender. He's still onside here. Vardy shoots. Scampers across the penalty box. Forest were looking for something from the linesman. Not getting it. Here's Maddison approaching the byline. He's inside the box. Puts on his right. Turns. Puts on his left. Scoops it to the middle. And it's a glorious chance missed by Shrewsbury Hall. Maddison put it on the plate. Weaving and turning. The Nottingham Forest defence whips it up in the air. And Shrewsbury Hall just couldn't head it past the goalkeeper. In fact, he had it completely wide. Warning signs are there 5 minutes in. It's excellent play from James Maddison. Absolutely tearing Lorena and Lodi apart. Going from right, going to left. And eventually the ball was put, it looks like, dashes it right. And for all the listeners, you put him in your fantasy team, that's probably why. Leicester 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Just the start Brendan Rodgers wanted his side to make. Got a bit of defending to do though. Down this right-hand side up against Justin Johnson, who seems to be the live wire for Forest, and Barnes has come to clamp that ball and complete the clearance. It will be a throw-in though, around about in alignment of the penalty box. Jesse Lindbergh back in the starting lineup for the second line. It gives one energy on the way to Steve Peterson. Fascinating who plays this year, just on the basis of this unheard of 22 summer signings. The Cooper did a marvellous job. It is Johnson who's just tried to get into the box, and he has won a free kick right on the edge of the box on the right-hand side of the penalty box, and Didi was the man that has been penalised. Leicester 0, Forest 0, and it's another test of Leicester's credentials regarding their set piece. And Didi's defence, he tried, look, no one's there, we were just trying to get away, but Johnson's clever there, kind of runs into the central defensive midfielder, and he's won aside a free kick. Leicester 0, Forest 0. Most teams are trying to avoid horrible history this season. With Forest, they suffered another defeat. The first time they suffered 5 straight league defeats in the season, for the first time since 2004. Considering that Forest have been in this outside the top flight for a while, you expect these types of records not to be in the offering in the top flight. They've got a free kick here in a fantastic position. It's for the left footer. There's a lot of red shirts in. It's headed out by Vardy for a corner. And already inside the first 10 minutes, Forest have their third corner of the evening. Right footed, so it's a good area, headed away by Castagne. Defensive work, connected around through. Not too Forest's easy. Let's go all the way back Forest. Indeed, Henderson scored in a lovely grey kit. Shorts, grey top, and grey socks. Manchester United on loan goalkeeper. Forest trying to fire that forward, but she's forward his way now to Evans. Better there, you feel. He's got to take. Come here and play on the account to get Tillman's down. Picks it up, likes it, he spreads it to Evans, the centre back, who goes on the run and fires it towards Castagne. He's pumping himself towards the byline. It's good defensive work from Jesse Lingard. Come back to the cover, but his clearance just falls to Tillman. Belgium has the ball. He cuts it back to Evans. Forest top, every single player at bar. Leicester's goalkeeper and Danny Ward are in. Forest top, lovely from Madison, rolls the ball a little bit. Just waits now, lays to Castagne. Jude Horse load himself in the middle. Goes away to the far post, outside the box to Barnes. He goes back into the box, up against Cook. Barnes checks his back now. And Tillman's effort tries to loop off. In fact, it was Justin. It will be a corner, it was deflected. It will be Leicester's first corner of the evening. Leicester 0, Forest 0. Barnes did really well to kind of resurrect that move, and it wasn't very ambitious, but just for a second, Henderson didn't know his bearings. It was Johnson doing the defensive work over Henderson. Maybe Madison to take this corner. Right footed. Short. That's their 1-2, and the 1-2 to come off with Tills, and then frustrating for Brendan Rogers. They want to put the ball into the box before he's struggling from set pieces. Now with their goalkeeper Ward, who's got a all-black kit, yellow gloves and yellow boots. He's got it back, and there's a bit of pressure from the Forest attackers. He fires his forward, and he can only find a red shirt. The red shirt wins it, back into Leicester's half. Now the ball just wants to drop. Thankfully drops from a Leicester perspective to Tillman's. Tillman's now back to Evans. Evans simply just holds the ball, just 2 hands in front of him and just says, calm down everyone, let's relax, let's go again. It's Justin down this right side in his own end to Tillman. Justin gets it back, he's also wearing yellow boots. Of course, Evans now. Into that partner. Presser has the ball towards the left-hand side for Leicester. cut out well by Cook. He also tries to turn, doesn't get it, and Diddy. Referee says play on. With a pocket of space for Maddison. There's room now this left hand side. It's going to be Shrewsbury Hall. He shoots wide. He had options to feed it to Barnes here in Shrewsbury Hall, but he wanted to see if he could test Dean Henderson. It's another effort from these boys. We had 3 already, 1 header and 2 shots outside the penalty box in these early stages. Was well wide from the Leicester man. Shots already for Leicester, 2 from Nottingham Forest, but nothing on target from both sides. Henderson takes the clearance, he fires his full. Tries to get the flick on from Amoyi, doesn't get it. Maddison picks up as well, and Tillman rather steps on the ball and he basically has no red shirts around it. That was Ward, the goalkeeper, he spreads this now to full, the centre back to Evan Diddy there, he feel frustrated with his performance a fortnight ago at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Got pinched for the 3rd goal, and that really set the tone for that 6-2 thrashing. Now with Barnes down the left-hand side trying to win a corner, just to go around Neco Williams. And clearance is completed by Cook for Forest. And they fight back. Here's Maddison, edge of the box. Somehow he just receives its way to the Leicester number 10. It's a lovely play from O'Brien. He skips past a couple Leicester players. The game's over too much. And Hans tries to trickle his way past Neco Williams. I'm not sure that's going to be the first booking or not. We'll have a conversation tonight with Neco Williams. Nice skill from Barnes. Tonight. Neco Williams, of course, on loan from Liverpool. And Nottingham Forest have an extremely high line from this set piece. It's going to be James Maddison from the far side, and about 10 yards from the technical area. It's going to be right-footed, pushes to the end. Oh, Vardy's there! Oh, he's missed it. And the flag has stayed down. It's another opportunity for Leicester. Another chance that hasn't been on target. I mean, Vardy's run is exceptional. Runs from deep, and he had a lot more time than he thought. Jamie Vardy, that really should have been of his 100th goal in his 30s. Remarkable record when he does break it. Jamie Vardy, remarkable story. We all know his upbringings in terms of his footballing career, coming from non-league at such a late age. And Vardy is the man that's been slipped through here. The flag's down. It's Jamie Vardy against Henderson and saves. Wow. I don't know if the flag went up or not. We'll get another replay. If it would have counted, Vardy's timed his run once again superbly. Jamie Vardy clean through on goal. Right-footed shot. Stinging the palms of Henderson. Still no here. Forest have to wake up a little bit here because Leicester are knocking and locking now on target, and they're getting their number 9 with clear-cut opportunities. A very bright start for Leicester. Neco Williams for Forest. It's the ball into Leicester's half, and the Scottish side are throwing just around 15 yards in Leicester's half. Justin concedes it. 9% possession for Leicester. As you can imagine, the times we've seen them get up the pitch. Henderson fires this forward, looking towards that right-hand side. Slow down a little bit. Barnes wins his team to throw it. Iniacho isn't on the starting lineup. He's on the bench for Nigerian striker. He's doing the lottery at the moment this season of what striker. Brendan Rodgers will go off the bench and for who he would start. But he could make a bit of history also, Iniacho. He can score a Premier League goal on his birthday. It is his birthday today for the second year in a row. So much credit to feel that the narratives for these two-side seasons could be set. Forest, of course, the broken side, so a team that traditionally is probably the weakest of the basis of where they finished last year, but they've come up with a solid victory. Draw to Everton away is good. Since then, got able to gain a point. 2-0 defeat at home to Spurs. Then they were crushed 6-0 by Manchester City. Then they lost 3-2 to Bournemouth at home. And then they lost also to Fulham. Lodi and Lingard to ball in. Experience isn't really convincing. The Jude Ward picking up the lead can't. The Williams can spread this to the right on the side. It's coming out by Justin. He heads it into Barnes. Barnes tries to take one from Williams. And it's hit the hand of Michael Williams. And that will be a free kick, a real dangerous position. And Williams is going to get booked. No surprise after the first foul on Barnes. And now this is an intentional handball. And just his hands did go towards the ball, and after a few first challenges that the Welshman have done in this game, it's 3 yellow cards so far. This season it's his third, and Forest have to switch in. As I mentioned, already these sides struggle from set pieces, and they're going to deal with the best set piece takers in the league in James Maddison. Last time, 17 minutes ago, Leicester 0, Forest at the King Power Stadium. Leicester City 20th place, Forest in 19th. No wins, not the Rory side. Right-footed, arrowed in, low, and it's not in. It's just bounces once again. Vardy was there first. There's a little wild smile. Forgive me for my loud praise of the boys, but they split once again their Forest defence, and it just looked like Vardy was going to tap it in and slip it past Henderson. It's been a time now for Forest, who might find themselves through a goal, and it was with Johnson. It's an excellent ball from Gibbs, right, cutting the Leicester defence wide open. Ward comes up, and in these positions you normally see the defender, the goalkeeper commit, and the striker rather go to ground. Maybe that was a bit of naivety, a little bit, but the goalkeeper did put his hand out away from Johnson. A chance to put him goal there. His chance. Credit to Forest after a moment of uncertainty in their back foot from that set piece to be able to create an opportunity, needing more of that. Needs to stop this man who's on the ball at the moment. Maddison skipping past Piarte. He's able to spread it to left hand side to Barnes. He's approaching the penalty box. He's got Kiernan Cruz before in front of him. Cut out well. Johnson, I tell you, Johnson's been pinged back throughout the game. He made to work as a third defender down that right hand side. The same with Lingard. I think that Gibbs White's played right mid. Tillman's touches heavy, falls in to Piarte. Can he get out of this Leicester sandwich? He does. He does really well. He puts the ball back into Leicester hands. Can't latch on. And it's with Wood. 20th minute mark, live on Flash Score, of course, got you covered. All the European action this week in the Champions League. The Real Madrid games, you could the Rangers against Liverpool, Manchester City against Copenhagen, and yeah, of course the Europa League as well between Manchester United and Arsenal, all on this wonderful stats, coverage, match reports, and preview. Forest though, and it's now Leicester's turn to be a bit more defensive, switched on from a defensive set piece point of view. They conceded a foul halfway in their own half though. It's Evans who latched onto it. Gibbs White has won it, and it's going to be Neco Williams who will take the free kick. Again, Piarte all there. They've arrowed it to the far side. Ward's got up and he's done really well. Not only did he gather, he pushed, and you can see Evans there gearing up his goalkeeper, because there's been criticism of Ward. Some of the goals he has been conceded have been questionable, definitely from supporters for sure. That's a wonderful switch of play. Justin spreaded it from left to right. It's down the right hand side for Leicester. He goes back in for Castagna. And Tillman says, you know what, I don't want to play down the side. Let me go to the left again. He spreads it now. To the left. It's Dewsbury Hall. Barnes. Dewsbury Hall wants it. He'll get that to the byline. Looking towards Maddison and Vardy. Headed out. And he just about kept it in. A bit controversial, that led to a goal. You can see the ball was very, very close from staying in or not. Now it's time for Forest to stretch the legs, and they're behind the midfield. Here's Gibbs White. He slips it away. It's a chance for Forest here to take the lead, and they hit the post. The Nigerian doesn't score. That's the closest we've got to opening, and that's the closest Forest have. Leicester 0, Forest 0. They just found the pockets in behind Leicester's midfield. It was open for Gibbs White, who I have to say has found 2 splendid balls. He slips through Anawu, who's only got 2 already this season, and he pushed his body in between the ball and the defender, clear on goal in the box, and his shot went past the goalkeeper, but it hit the left hand post. It's now with Barnes up against Williams, who can't commit because he's on the yellow card. Barnes will wait, and Barnes will get the corner. 22 minutes, it's fiery on this Monday Night Football. Leicester 0, Forest 0. Beautiful ball. Pockets of space, pokes it forward, and the number 9's got to score. He does everything right but the finish. That's a splendid move, and you can see why Forest have paid that money for Gibbs White. He did enough. He just scooped it past the goalkeeper, but not enough to hit the net. That'll be a classic soak of pressure hitting on the counter. That was to happen. Nil. Maddison, right-footed corner, doesn't find a blue shirt, and in fact, hit the hand of Vardy on the ricochet, and it will be a free kick to Forest. Anyway, he just, spreads it just wide. Fortunate for the Forest man. Poet on it, 2 goals, both scored at the City ground, and that would have been his first away goal for the club. Evans now with the ball for Leicester City. Midlands Derby is on for it a lot. Tillman's with a lot of space now for Maddison. So many red shirts. Back now for Forest though. Barnes back to Maddison, edge of the box here. Maddison, who's known for his shooting prowess, just rolls it to Tillmans, who can shoot also. Tillmans puts it left with the ball to Barnes, edge of the box. He goes into the box here. It's Harvey Barnes for Leicester. It's blocked. And the clearance is poor from Lingard. Maddison deflected and in. Leicester lead. Breakthrough and delight in a King Power Stadium. The clearance wasn't effective from Jesse Lingard. It fell to Maddison, edge of the box, who hammered it past Henderson. There was a deflection, but he won't care. It is 4th Premier League goal for James Maddison, and Leicester have the lead. Leicester 1, Forest 0. And this East Midlands derby is put to light. Well, it all starts from Barnes, the deflected low cross, throws to Maddison. It was on target. It comes off McKenna in the end. We'll see who it gets awarded to. McKenna runs towards him. He does caress the ball and hits his hand. And the deflection loops past Henderson. Brendan Rodgers, fist pops into the air. Relief around this stadium. Once again, we'll see if it'll get awarded to Maddison. At the moment, it has been. That's the 4th goal for the Englishman. If you are a fantasy football supporter, you'll be happy. More so if you support Leicester City, because your side have a lead in a season where you've not been able to get any wins so far. Here's Chiarte using his strength here for Forest. He's blocked out. Pulls to Maddison, who's going to go long, looking towards Vardy. Vardy now up against Cook. Infield to Barnes. There's a bit of space here for Barnes. Barnes calls it for number 2! Oh, it's a beautiful goal. He found the bottom corner. Harvey Barnes makes it Leicester 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Delirium at the King Power. Wow. And Forest have been carved and cut open. They found a space in the centre circle. Leicester have worked the ball from right to left. It was Vardy with the patience. He slipped it to Barnes. But once again, you just simply cannot give that time and space to players like Vardy and Barnes, and they'll get hurt. It's Maddison who sprays it towards Jamie Vardy, who just halts. He's got two on him. Cook connects. And then it's Barnes who just takes 2 touches and then slams it past Henderson. Gorgeous effort. Lycra boots caressing that ball into the bottom corner. It's a side net even before it goes into the bottom corner in terms of the inside of the net. Gorgeous goal. This time there's no fist pump from Rodgers. Just 2 hands for Brendan Rodgers. And Steve Cooper is not a happy man at all. And football, it's all about goals. Of course it is. That's a cliche, probably the ultimate cliche in football. My apologies. But if you're a Forest fan, you'd be thinking about that opportunity. Just only 5 minutes to go, where your number 9 is clear through on goal, and he hits the post from it. He doesn't find the goal, and due to that, you're behind. And then moments later, you can see twice, and it's a mountain to climb for a side who have lost their last 4 Premier League games. You can see the free kick already. Supporters are bouncing. Only King Power been the best start for them this season. You can see why. It is a derby, of course, also. Forest have a really good record against Leicester City. I mean, they've beaten them already this year. They beat them 4-1 in the FA Cup. If they were to win this game and get a comeback, could do back-to-back games against Leicester for the first time since '95. They've just lost one of their last 6 meetings with Leicester, so you can really tell that in recent years and many a year between these two sides, Forest had the better of the two teams, but at the moment, we approach the half-an-hour mark. Leicester in full control. And they've got 2 goals to the good with Justin. Well, I spoke to Brendan Rodgers shortly after the game at Leicester when they lost 6-2. Of course, against Leicester, he manages Leicester. Forest dropped from the most winning positions is Leicester this season, being 11th. But I spoke to Brendan Rodgers after the Tottenham defeat, and he said that he just simply felt he didn't have the rough of the green in terms of the fixtures. He felt that he's in pockets in time. They have been playing well. Coming into this game, losing 5-2 and 6-2 away from home, respectfully to Brighton and Tottenham Hotspur. And he just felt that with the run of the fixture they have, that he would be able to get opportunities. And as we approach the half-an-hour mark, we see it. What he meant by that. And we have to go this game, of course. Leicester, in control of the so their centre back and Evans just takes a step forward. Julie Evans, the captain, looks to release Jamie Vardy. The flag is on. It's Jamie Vardy, and it bounces right in front of Henderson. Now the flag comes up. It's a little wild smile and a thumbs up from Jamie Vardy. Can Rodri get Forest up right down the left-hand side? There's O'Brien. The moments where Forest been able to cut Leicester open, need a bit more of that for sure. And Diddy now has the ball though. Forward. Evans. And still. And he just can't find Vardy. Henderson now, still. Launches his forward, not the best kick for Dean Henderson. Does he find a red shirt? And does slowly find its way to Lingard. Now Rodgers. Clapping. He'll want a clean sheet going into the second half. Going into half time. Is Loddy, can he keep it in? Really, Loddy, he does, and he gets it back from Gibbs-White. He skips past a few players, Loddy. He will make Gibbs-White run, and it won't get it down the left-hand side. That'll be just a little bit of a frustration. Sherman Iwitz. Dropper is a smart satisfaction. Benjamin Ruggs leaping around the technical area. Contrast, the Forest fans are silent. And manager Steve Cooper, well, his face is not a delight. It's pure fume, and these Forest fans are unhappy with him. Even long-awaited wait to return to the top flight of English football. Many believe they deserve to be in the Premier League and the top flight of English football. But you've got to earn your right. You've got to stay in this division. They earned the right to be in this league, and they stay in this league. It's Maddison now, 10 yards outside the penalty box. Maddison back now to Castagna. And the ball's just behind Maddison. Tillmans. Tillmans gets it back. Back to Evans. Evans now. Maddison now flips it to Tillmans. Is nice. Bit of space for Cruz-Bahor. He's got it on the accelerator, and that's a free kick. And this is definitely James Maddison territory, hitting the D. It's actually another yellow card for Forest. This will be given to Chiarte. Yellow for Chiarte and Neco Williams. Second of the season for the Senegal international. Maddison's picked up the ball. Still waiting for this free kick to be taken. Forwards right in the middle of the post. This is a gorgeous opportunity for Leicester to get a third in James Maddison. It's going to be right-footed, and he finds the nail. It's a beautiful free kick. Wonderful goal. He's got a second, James Maddison, and Leicester have a third. Wow. Right-footed, arrowed, hit the corner of the post, and Leicester are well on course for their first Premier League win of the season. And the chairman is now clapping supporters. It was a really dangerous position. As soon as you saw that free kick, you are feeling, James Maddison, can you get this on target? If so, you're going to find the net. And he did. Hit the post and it went into the net. Maddison now has 13 goal involvements in 11 games. He has 9 goals in 11 games. He has 5 in the Premier League. And Steve Cooper is holding his knees to Nottingham Forest manager. It's turned out to be a little bit of a rout here. 50th goal for Leicester. James Maddison. One would say that he should be going to the World Cup. He's not going to look it from Gareth Southgate, but if he keeps performing the way he does, scoring the goals the way he does, and if Leicester start getting up the table, it will be no surprise to see him on the plane to Qatar in November. It's tail on the tape for this game. It's Leicester 3, Forest 0. Maddison, Barnes, Maddison the goal scorers, and Forest headed to 5 straight defeats. And they just want half time. Unfortunately, we've got 10 minutes for that. They pull one back. They've got Gibbs White. Cook. Henderson. Wides now to the right hand side. Williams. Now with Cook. McKenna. To O'Brien. That's just sitting off Forest now. They've done the hard work. Got the goals to emphasise their dominance. Now a case of just resting. Keeping that defensive shape. Chiarte now with a bit of space for Nottingham Forest. He's asked to get the pace to come much closer. McKenna. Now back to Henderson. Goalkeeper, McKenna. A lot of possession from Forest. O'Brien now. Back to the Brazilian. He's been trickled the trail by Madison. He's ended up having to play it back to Henderson. Henderson now back to Cook. This has now become a heavy press from Leicester. And doing so, they've won the ball back from their centre back. He's headed it back to Forest. O'Brien trickles himself into the 6-yard until the Forest wish to be in the 6-yard box, but the centre circle nonetheless. They've got the ball with Williams on the byline. Now all the way back to Cook. Right-footed diagonal ball looking towards Lodi. Can he keep it at Lodi? Athletically does. Gathers it through his left foot. The yellow boots. Finds to Lingard. Forrester enjoying a lot of possession now in this game. These last few moments. Can they make it count? Can they pull one back? Nice 1-2. Here's Gibbs White rushing into the box. White tucks it to Lingard. It's a chance for 3-1 and it's blocked. Chiarte. Lodi will provide the whip. Left footed. Away cleared. O'Brien. Forest working it well and the offside flag has gone up. 3-0. Tillman screams to his side and Lingard had just for a second the sight of goal inside the penalty box. He worked it superbly. Gibbs White, maybe he should have hit it first time. Gave the opportunity for Tillmans to block. In the end, was it Tillmans? Yeah, it was. Right foot just hanging out, made it difficult for Lingard. Would love to atone for his initial error. It led to Madison's first goal for Leicester. Forest, 3 goals without reply in 10 minutes here. 3 goals without reply in 6 minutes versus Fulham. And 3 goals without reply in 36 in Bournemouth. They do capitulate Steve Cooper's side this season. Seeing that tonight, the King Power. And that'll be disappointing for Forest, just due to the fact that you're facing a team that has won any game so far this year. Sound of the ball hitting the post for that free kick before anything there. One of those small joys of football for sure. 5 minutes to go in this Monday night East Midlands game. And indeed he's screaming to the referee that he felt like he got the ball, but the SVP and Liaison O'Brien's won a free kick. Madison's 50th goal for Leicester in all competitions and his 179th appearance for the club. To Forest on the right hand side. Chikioti nearly gets the ball pitched from Yuka soon in Madison. Lodi to fire this now. Here's O'Brien. It's going to be a free kick. Referee says get up. Much to the frustration. And did it. Here's Shrewsbury Hall. And the blue shirts are scampering on the red. Here's Vardy. There's players waiting, including Barnes. Vardy, and it's blocked by Lodi. And it will be a corner. Madison will take it down this right hand side. Smiles in front of the Forest supporters. Four minutes till half time. Madison to take it. Right footed. Goes away to the far post and fires his header. Looks towards Ndidi. Goes back to Madison now, who's stayed on side. Once again, he's chopping and turning. Wicked ball first time, but it just bounced towards Henderson. No one could just tap it in front. Forest hammered the ball down the field. And the wall didn't come up. Evans had to clear. A little bit of hesitation at the back. The last thing Brendan Rodgers wants to see is side. Trout. Now these two managers are under pressure. Keeping the man who brought Forest up. Is there loyalty in football? It's an open question. Rhetorical. I won't answer that. And he is definitely a man under pressure. The importance of a result tonight, and of course the aim of always a win, was imperative to make sure that these questions weren't going to be asked after this game. As we approach the half-time whistle, those questions are only going to get louder. Castagna to take this throw in. Evans seems to get a little knock. He's walking a bit gingerly, but it's fine. Here's Madison, bit of space outside the boot towards Fars. Fars now runs into Forest's half. Justin, Madison. Barnes is the one who can't find Drewsy Hall, but it's Johnson who's penalised Barnes. It's another chance for Leicester to swarm and put the ball into the box. Madison and James Dustin are over the ball. He takes it quickly to Justin. He's looking to the far post. It's cleared away by Forest. Goes away for a throw-in rather than a corner. Castagna looks to try and take it quickly. Castagna now. Madison. Tillman. Sandwiched in. Nice little back heel from Madison. Beautiful back heel. Here's Madison. Up to byline. You wouldn't mind me calling Madders. Tillman's tries to play the triangle with Castagna, and this is really, really poor defending from Lodi. He's giving it back, and he's giving it to Madison, who's going to cut in again, play it back to Castagna. He's going to scoop this to the far post. Does it fall to a blue shirt? No, it doesn't. It's with Johnson. He's got pressure by Justin. He still can't get out, and he's got himself a throw. 2 minutes added on. Well, many are saying second manager Steve Cooper took it from the bottom of the championship table, went on point after 7 matches of the season last September into the Premier League with a squad full of lone players would be one of the harshest sackings. coming on also. Terrace is coming on. Kiarte's off, and so is Williams and O'Brien. There's also going to be a change for Leicester with Ndidi coming off and Samore coming on. We'll get you the full rundown of the two teams as they just kicked off. Yeah, I think Leicester lead by 3-0. It's with Vardy trying to release Maddison. So Danny Ward in goal for Leicester. Castagna, Evans, pass Justin. Samore has come on for Ndidi. Barnes with 1 goal already tonight. Shrewsbury Hill, Tillmans, Maddison and Jamie Vardy is Leicester's lineup. For Nottingham Forest is Henderson, Loddy, McKenna, Cook, Serge Aurier coming on at right back position. So it's Gibbs White's on the left. The midfield 2 that's come on to replace O'Brien and Chiarte in Yates, captain, and Furella, Johnson and Onaway lead the line. Lingard, of course, also still on the pitch for Nottingham Forest. There's won the ball, and the referee's played on here, and it's Barnes approaching the box. Barnes trying to find him on the corner, and it's gathered by Henderson. That's the shoot from right to left. And next to the move by Samore. It's quite weird because both sets of players stopped here. The referee just said play on, and it was Samore was able to find Barnes, and he was able to isolate Cook and take it up. The shot was comfortable in the end. Right. Plays forward now. Johnson to the left hand side, but forward by Lingard. It would be interesting to look at the Vincent. More Justin goes to Justin now. Left hand side, the yellow boot of Justin goes forward with Vardy. Red through the left hand side. Loddy now. Terrace. Cook. Stops to McKenna. Down the left to Loddy. Loddy now. Shepherd is forward to Cook. Cook to Aurier. Halfway line. Right to Aurier. Good position. Forest, but the scoreline isn't good. The big problem. Second half goals conceded. Both these sides have conceded most this year. Forest is 13 and Leicester's 15. In terms of 13 goals and 15 goals respectively. In fact, no side has conceded more goals beyond the 60th minute mark in Europe. Top 5 in the league than Leicester. They're 12 after the out in their games, and that's the most every single team in the top 12 European league. What we emphasise is the struggle they've been on defensively. They need to make sure that they're going to turn the corner. They can score goals, but can they keep the defence? Back down that right side. For Castagna. Mora's got a bit of space inside the central circle, through to Justin. Justin down the left hand side to Barnes. Barnes up against Aurier. It's the 1-2 here. Vardy's there in the middle, looks towards Vardy, but cut out by Aurier, and it will be a corner kick. Cook, in fact, was the defender that put his body. put it out for a corner. 50 minutes gone. Leicester 3, Forest 0. You can always join us here. It's 9 o'clock. UK time. Too early for your bedtime. Only if you're up at 5 in the morning. Football, of course, is not sleep. James Maddison with the right foot. He's going to put this ball in. Curved into a great area. Castagna over the bar. Fell towards it. Into the 6-yard box. And it was fast in the end. He just lifted it over. He hasn't got his goal yet for Leicester. McKenna for Forest. Usually will put pressure on Henderson. Henderson left footed clears. The header now on towards Armani. Better for Forest, more resolute performance. Cook. Rory wanted down the right hand side. On the pressure from Barnes. Some support. Quite lucky to given the throw. It didn't seem like it came off the fullback. Forest in, they're in, and a moment of madness here, and it's a good chance for Forest. It's for safe. Back now, oh, it's a block, and Leicester's defence was all over the place. Well, Oniwaye was clear through on goal, and that's another opportunity that he's been able to miss. They've simply kicked the ball. He might have been offside. We have to wait and see. And he's clean on goal, and Danny Ward's come up. He's made the save in his own box. It then goes to Johnson, who actually puts the ball outside the penalty box. And in fact, his resulting shot goes out for a goal kick. It's a free. Forest 0, but that's a warning. Again, Leicester are leaking. He leaves gap to the back. Tillmans. Infield to Maddison. He scoops this down with his left foot now for Shrewsbury Hill, who sprints to the defence of Forest. That's a cracking challenge, or an absolute superb challenge. He has conceded a corner, much to the protest of the Forest defenders. Barnes rushing in. Have another closer look. It did come off Harvey Barnes. I think it did come off Dive. It will be a corner, nonetheless. Again, this game's easy to watch on the up, for sure. Leicester 3, Forest 0. It's whipped in by Maddison into a good area, and it's headed away. And the clearance completed by the feet of Cook. Once again, quick to leave a 1-on-1. Leicester from these set pieces, but thankfully they're able to keep the ball, and they're now inside their own half now with Samore entering the centre circle. Slips this to Tillmans right in front of him. He's finding the gaps. He finds Maddison outside the route for Maddison, looking towards Vardy. Was ambitious. Samore now back to Keane and Shrewsbury Hall. 35 yards inside Forest's half. Here's Evans now to the right hand side. Tillmans just puts this in first time. Looking towards Barnes, deflection, it loops over. That was a nice ball from Castagna. Had a slight deflection, pouring its way to Barnes, who was coming in from the left. Did it just bounce in front of Barnes? No, it was a first time volley. And there is a call of there. It did hit the hand. Now, this will be one definitely for VAR to look at. And it has hit the hand of Cook. We'll just wait before anything, but it looks in those positions where it may be a penalty or not. But the referee hasn't been asked to look for on a monitor just yet. And it will not be a penalty. Going to be a corner, which is the delight for Forest. Definitely some derby. Forest fans listening to King Power. Right-footed, coming in. This is everybody. It goes out now to Shrewsbury Hall. Evans is trying to just stab that one forward. He doesn't get it. So it's Johnson. And the red shirt's going to break. Nice. Here's Loddy. You can see him stretch his leg. He back tools it now to Gibbs White. Goes in field now to Yates. That's just for him. Hooks it back to the right hand side for Ore. 55 minutes for 3-0 they trail Forest. Cook. Here's McKenna. For Forest. On its way down the left hand side for Loddy. Henderson. Here's Cook. Spots this forward. Good possession from Forest. They've been able to get out well. It's a bit of time now. Lingard hammers this down to the left hand side. Red shirts are trying to fluff forward as soon as possible. Lingard, who's got a bit of space, and that's a free kick, not given. Edge of the box. He was just hit with a lot of ferocity. Yates, referee says play up. Was a Leicester player down. There's 3 Forest players in the box. He pulls that back to Gibbs White and it doesn't fall to it. Madison then decides to kick the ball out so that Castagna can get treatment. Is that up? Down up. Castagna. That was a great chance for Forest to pull one back. About 5 minutes ago with Tower not breaking the Leicester offside trap. His shot was parried by Danny Ward just inside the penalty area. And it fell to Brendan Johnson. He just wow again and initially couldn't. He actually had an open goal briefly. And having touched me. It's going to be Tillman's. Evans looking forward towards Vardy. That's nearly a heavy challenge. At least a free kick to Leicester, but it's offside. Shrewsbury Hall. The player that was challenged with Forest. Henderson. The rest of the ball forward. Second ball is won by Forest. I suppose the Leicester centre back is holding him. Cook. Good Forest, goalkeeper. McKenna now has it. Trying to play from the back, kind of get themselves out. This time we're only trying to keep the deadlock. Is Ward to Post. Bars. Now Castagna. To Ward. Goalkeeper in the yellow gloves tonight. They're that busy. Goalkeeper. We're happy to sign a bit more control in the second half, but they need a bit more just in their attack. Cook. Over there. Nicely down the right hand side. Finding their voice at the King Power Stadium, giving their team some sort of encouragement here. Edging possession stats 55%. So they've enough double change since rules. Roll on the dice for Nottingham Forest. He's going to come on. It's going to be Tapalu, maybe Surrey, Uncle, even Emmanuel Dennis, of course, who's someone who gives teams no problems. Ward for Leicester slices this forward. Vardy's header towards now to Yates. Lodi runs into a little bit of trouble with Maddison, who seems to be a lot of pain. James Maddison and Jules Wolves decides to get it out, but it will be a real worry here. World Cup. Just fell on his ankle. Got it. The child back. Totally accidental. Yeah, agony. The end of Jamie Vardy's night. Xhaka. Oh, goal. Yeah. Vardy. 300. 30. Scored a couple goals this season. Dennis. He's coming off the highway. Away to Nigeria's places. In the summer from Watford, who changed managers last week with Rob Edwards getting sacked. They brought in Slaven Bilic. They won yesterday Watford 4-0 against Stoke. Okay, he's back on the pitch. Decided to set his foot in his own half. Evans, who's lost it to the right hand side. Position for Leicester. Nice to Tillman. Needs to give a go with Maddison. He arrows to Xhaka. Xhaka back to Tillman. Castagna get there first. No Lodi York. Under pressure. Giving the ball away. With Xhaka. Jesse Lingard on Justin. Yeah, also, free transfer in the summer after Manchester United let him go. A great time for Rodgers. Tillmans. For start at 11. 22. Go down there, try and release Emmanuel Dennis. The goalkeeper in Henderson. Forward is Gibbs. Emmanuel Dennis is through on goal here. Oh, he's pulled it wide. And the flag has gone up. May not have counted, but Forest just can't seem to find a target tonight. Their finishing have been poor. 65 minutes gone, and I wonder if he would have been offside in the end. We'll get a replay. He was. Great defending from Evans. He stepped up. He wasn't bothered at all. And Steve Cooper. Then he's offside anyway, but you can see he's not happy. The Nottingham Forest manager, you wouldn't be with the finishing that we've seen here tonight. Forward. The Forest goalkeeper. There's been signs for Forest. Can they pull one back and potentially give us a grandstand finish? We're still training. They were to get one by 2. But the omens are there this year that Leicester have a soft centre and you expose it. Here's Johnson. Tries to find a red shirt in the box. Maddison now for Daka. Hasn't got much help as he goes past the halfway line. Daka has to go back into his own half with Tillman. Tillman plays it to Maddison. Barnes made it, was a willing runner, trying to go beyond the Forest defence, but Shrewsbury elects not to pass it to him. Now with Samora, who feeds Tillman, who plays the shots back to Evans. They outbound the right now to Stanley. Forest try and win it back with him, or Presser. Evans got to step up and stick it to the fullback. Stanley does really well for Stanley. Feeds it to Maddison. Tillman. Oh, does it to the far side, where Shrewsbury Hall will go down this left up against Yates. This is a good play from Leicester. It's going to be Barnes who feeds Maddison. Maddison, edge of the box, goes for goal, and it's going to be a goal kick. Nice flick and a shimmy, puts on his left. There's no deflection. It was an effort. Well wide for a man who's had 2 efforts to find the target splendidly. Back towards Henderson! And Mr. Daka blocked it, but it hit his hand. The substitutes at the wide smile, of course, Daka. Henderson's got smilers when he conceded 3. Alright, Lingard is on for Forest. Change means that Lingard is off. It's handed behind Yates a note. He's tucked it inside back of his shorts. Samora inside Forest's half in the middle. Tries to go down the wings again. Leicester. Ball has it, but it's transferred all the way back to Johnny Evans. Checks that out. Nice pace there from Gibbs White. It's gone past a few players. It's gone past a lot of players, Gibbs White. This is a good individual effort. Just couldn't pull the trigger at the end of it. In fact, it was brilliant. Johnson, who was darting from left to right through a few players. It's a nice run. Up past the halfway line, goes past one, goes past another. It's going to be right footed this corner. And they pull one back, headed out by Daka. It's going to be Another corner for Gibbs White to put it. We've got 20 minutes left in this East Midland derby. Leicester 3, Forest 0. Gibbs White's right foot again, goes away to the far post. McKenna wins the header, but he arrows his back out of the box. Clearance completed by Madison. Ward now. What can he do? Right footed. Goalkeeper's up in. Ward, and he gathers that comfortably. Would love a clean sheet tonight, Ward. Just it. Over the halfway line he goes, trying to poke it towards Barnes. That's a nice challenge. Really good challenge from Hart. He's just come on the substitute. Back to play, and you can see his physique and his dominance of the ball. And Simada has found him. It's going to be booked. For it. Just holding back his shot. First yellow card. Everybody in the middle. He shakes his head. Yeah, it's been very disappointing evening so far for Simon Hooper. Some target space. 1 Leicester tonight. 11 from Brighton and Tottenham. White's been so comfortable for the hosts. Tillman's nice one. Puts it to the right. There's Xhaka. He's got Tuchel ahead of it. Now he slips it to Madison. Low cross. Back! Oh! Lovely goal! He backhills it past Henderson in the near post. It's 4 for Leicester. And that has sealed the points and confirmed beyond any doubt that they will have their first Premier League win of the season tonight, and end the horrible start, the miserable start that they've had in this league season, where they've lost 6 of their first 7 games. Madison with the assist, passed on Xhaka off the bench and onto the score sheet for his second of the season. Madison edge of the box, fires this, back heels straight past Henderson. Lovely goal, absolutely lovely. Side on, and then stacked right back, and Henderson will be disappointed with himself that he didn't save that. And that's just a nice improvisation from it. 4 to the good, and all 4 goals have been nice from a Leicester point of view. Probably this one could have been defended better out of all of them from a Forest point of view. Forest 0. For Forest going to get a consolation, because that's what it be tonight, nothing more. Forest, it's a heavy defeat. It's one we're going to bounce on. It's kind of how the relay, the 4-4, Leicester will leapfrog above Forest, and Forest will go to the foot of the table. 5 goals for 4 this morning on the side, coming in tonight with defeat 4. And still getting their revenge from that last year's 4-1 defeat. to Forest. Forest's first time with some 5 straight league defeats in the season for the first time since 2004. Rogers survived the consecutive defeats for the first time, 3 consecutive defeats. We're going to get there. Forest. Now looking ahead for these sides. For Forest, you're looking to bounce back. You have 1 week to bounce back. They take on Villa at home at the City ground next week. For Leicester, in action. To Bournemouth. Very happy, waving their flags, singing their song in the King Power. Looking for more goals as well. Barnes. Now to the left hand side for Forest. Is Johnson going to get that consolation? Looks pretty good so far this year. He's come on in Belgium. Cook. Right footed now. Okay. Back to Lodi. Equal to Manga. Tomorrow now. Onto the right hand side for Leicester. Behind the forward. It's a gorgeous touch. Tillman's. He's looking for Dewsbury Hill, who's nicked that through. And there's another player there in Cook. And you see Chambers out. Goalkeeper. Johnson, and the shot's blocked and pushed out by Ward. Fast break from Forest. In fact, it was one that fell to Gibbs White. He's once again been able to find that final pass. Pushed out by Ward. Right-footed this corner. Pushed out by Ward, still alive by Dennis, and he just about puts it in and he's out. Dennis. Release it, the header's there in the end, and here's a goal kick, the 8th. And that's the end of Tillman's evening. And Brett is coming on. 10 minutes to go in this one. Leicester 4 to the good. Let's see how the final few minutes are fair, but the win is coming for Leicester. More. Barnes. Tuchel. He's on the ground at the moment. Maddison looking to get man of the match. 17 goals and assists, May 11th. Maddison 14. Those two are on fire at the moment in the Premier League. Rodgers, good on. Maybe a little bit of a worry about Shrewsbury Hall being down. Thankfully for him, he's not. Henderson into the back line. Let's start to the left hand side. Now for Dennis. Field. Free kick. Maddison's been booked. On the halfway line. Lorry toward the attempt in the initial connection. Forest approaching the end of this game. Forest, credit to them, are still trying to get their consolation. Aurier, down to Gibbs. Right, Henderson. Cook. Oh, it's right now. Hit Aurier. Nice time for Gibbs White. It's cut out really by Tillmans. Maddison's evening is done. He'll get a round of applause from the stadium. A bit of a disappointment. He wanted his hat-trick. He came out in defence for his manager and he embraced his manager after the Spurs game. But after this game, he was no surprise to see his manager embrace him like that because, quite frankly, he has potentially all but saved his job. Being dramatic, but statistics and the results were very worrying for Brendan Rodgers. When you were facing side in 19th position, you would worry. Leicester were able to produce the goods. It's definitely been courtesy of James Madison. Now down the right-hand side now to Rory. Right-hand side, Dennis is up for the header. It's over the bar. With the body warm up, flapping, giving encouragement to the side. You don't know what his comments are going to be like. He's got to wait a week. Maybe a week is what they need to work on this against Aston Villa, a side who haven't won away from home. Heard yesterday on Flash Score. Their away struggles continue, although they got their first away point yesterday. Down this right. For Leicester, and it's with Brighton has just come in. Morning. Good strength from Xhaka. He tries to shoot. Could be taken away from Henderson. You hope from a Forest point of view, doesn't it? Him out because it could have been with the goalkeeper. Back by the centre back. Now Cook. Gibbs White. To the right. Warrior. Terrace, don't see much from him on the second half. Belgium. He's Emmanuel Dennis. Trying to find an option in the middle, and he's found one, and it's not put past the goalkeeper. It did connect to Gibbs White. It seemed like it was going to be the consolation at Forest to be knocking on the door throughout this second half. Gibbs White opening his body. The header, in fact, was just in the hand of the goalkeeper. Penalised. We approach the final minute of this Flash Score audio commentary of Leicester versus Nottingham Forest East London derby in the Premier League. We'll see 4 good goals, 2 for Madison, 1 for Barnes, and 1 for passing back off the bench. The 4th goal which came in the second half, really was the leading at half time. In now. Playing the far side, but conceded. Yeah, no kick. Doing really well, quite aggressive. He's done really hard in terms of his performances, and maybe there is just a bit too many options for Simon Cooper at the moment, Steve Cooper at the moment. Sorry, in terms of who he could, decide. But when you've got options, you can change things. You can be in the position where you can bring an Orde on, you can bring a Mangala on if you realize. Put O'Brien and Chiarte off at half time. There are options. Just got to find what works for him. Including Lingard. How is he going to get the best out of this group? Because there's some highly experienced Premier League players in this Forest side. And after that first victory, and they did get over West Ham, they've been able to really, they've struggled. Haven't played that ferocity, the power, and that aggression. Due to that, they're getting caught. This will be their 5th defeat in their 6 games. We've got 3 minutes of added time. Still with Forest, by the way. Hitting the byline through Orde up against Johnson. James Justin. Hook. And it's nicked. And this is great. Darting power from Samore. He's got absolute producer, that is, from Cook. Made sure Samore could not move forward. And Cook does offer apology. Because he just had one thing on his mind. Had to just take him off. And he just simply put it down. It's a real hack. And, no surprise to get across. 90 seconds. So he had it there. It's been a fine game. It's Barnes who got the second goal and really put the game away from Forest. He enters the box, brought down. The referees decide to give the free kick with Barnes biting back from that audience. Challenge! Well, what's next for Leicester is a trip to Bournemouth. Saturday at 3 o'clock. And they'll look to bounce back for sure.